Our first question, talking about President Trump and the US in Africa. So Trump's tariffs have effectively dismantled AGOA, which provided duty-free access to many African countries to export to the US, scrapped so much of the aid program, which affected Africa and the HIV programs and so forth. Do you think President Trump cares about Africa, and does it matter if he doesn't care?
Thank you. Very good afternoon to you all. I would not say that President Trump or America does not care about Africa. I would say that at the moment there is
If you live in a Texas zip code and have 0 DUIs in the last 5 years, listen carefully. I was an insurance agent for 30 years, and what I'm about to tell you could save you up to 80%.
A sweeping sort of approach to tariffs, which perhaps puts certain countries in a position where they ought not to be. So in the case of Africa, so if you take Nigeria, for instance, there is interdependence, of course, but the harm comes when there is an overdependence of one party to another. In the case of Nigeria, the tariffs imposed by the U.S. Do not necessarily harm Nigeria to the extent that they may others. One, because we are a very large country, like you said in your introduction, a country of 213 million people, so we have a huge internal market, and we've got not only size, but we've got scale. So the ability to scale up allows us to be to proof ourselves, to insulate ourselves from some of the possible fallout of these tariffs. And that also means we have a larger talent pool than smaller countries. So we can absorb that, and we can, of course, trade with other countries, which is what the Tinubu administration is trying to emphasize: strategic autonomy. We have the right and the basis to engage with as many countries as possible to trade. And our relationships are not based on ideological considerations, they're based on interests, beginning with our national interests. So we trade with the US, we trade with China, we trade with Brazil, we trade with India, and our focus is not necessarily on one axis or the other, or especially in a multipolar world.
You talk about strategic autonomy, but as we know, under President Trump has a very transactional approach to doing business with people, even to diplomacy. Do you think strategic autonomy, a sort of non-aligned approach, really works? Don't you need to sort of engage directly with him? And if so, how do you think Africa and Nigeria need to engage with President Trump?
We've got critical minerals, we've got rare earths, and we're looking for partners to develop such resources and capacity. And at the same time, also, we're a gas-rich country. We have 210 trillion cubic feet of gas, not to talk of the oil. So we are a gas zone with a bit of oil in it. And we consider gas a transition fuel for not just Nigeria, but several other African countries. And what we're focusing on also is integrating our markets. First and foremost, regional economic community, which is ECOWAS, and then also the continent as a whole, the African continental free trade area. And it's important in approaching Africa for the global north and for the developed countries not to take a Minecraft approach. Sometimes, it's like the game Minecraft. There's oil, there's gas, there's, the critical minerals, rare earths. We put a bit of this, we invest this. No, that's not the way it goes. The engagement should be based on mutual respect. It should be based on shared interests and based on the fact that Africa needs to develop. If it doesn't develop, then we continue to deal with irregular migration, with all these other challenges. There's no country that is autarkic that can survive alone. So it's in the best interest of all the countries that we work together to develop together.
So before we look a bit more at the economy and economic development, I mean, the US has been putting pressure, you've talked about it yourself, for Africa to take deportees from the United States. And I think you've resisted. But Ghana, for example, has taken some, and it's actually got better visa access for its citizens to the United States. It's got some multi-entry visas, I think, for Nigerians for its citizens to the United States.
See that shit right there? That shit is fly. My guy show up like a teenager.
United States, it's got sort of multi-entry visas. I think for Nigerians, it's very difficult to get those visas, much shorter. Is it time for Nigeria to engage on that? Are you engaging with the United States on that? Do you feel pressure to take deportees from the US?
I think that ship has sailed. We made our point, and I believe it's no longer on the discussion table. We continue to enjoy a good relationship with the United States. We do not see the need to take in other nationals under duress from any country, because we already have a population, like I said, of 230 million people. So we're not short of people. Our focus is, as we move closer to becoming 400 million, which we will be in the next 25 years, to train our workforce, to tackle the issue of poverty, of unemployment, so that we have the right dependency ratio that will be able to sustain us as we move into the future. So there are lots of opportunities. We can partner with all comers to tackle our challenges, as well as to provide the opportunities for those that are working with us.
It's a really striking figure, and as one gets older, you realize 25 years is a much shorter time than you originally might imagine. But how will you create the jobs for all these people coming into the market when you've got a nation of 400 million people? It's a huge number of jobs you have to create. It's a really vigorous economy you need to build. What steps are you going to take? What reforms are you going to take to get this country there?
So President Tinubu's priority is food security. So first and foremost, we have to be able to feed ourselves, and we will be creating lots of jobs as we work towards expanding on agriculture. So it's agriculture, it's manufacturing, expanding our manufacturing base, because I am a believer and a subscriber to import substitution. The terms of trade have to be right for the markets in Africa to integrate. And of course, with manufacturing, you have a longer or wider value chain. So packaging, not just producing the finished goods. And of course, as countries move out of poverty and become more gentrified, the demand is not on exporting raw materials and agricultural commodities. It's on finished goods. So we want to be part of that. And then, of course, infrastructure. In constructing infrastructure, you are immediately creating jobs, which would provide those linkages. So rail, gas pipelines, and broadband, and all of that. So this is what we're looking at. And we are creating also the legal and regulatory frameworks for convergence so that we integrate the markets in our region, which would unleash a lot of potential. Lastly, moving in the informal sector to the formal. That also generates a lot in terms of job creation, startups, business process outsourcing. We have Nigerian businesses in business process outsourcing that are benefiting from the tariffs because there's more outsourcing coming from the US and other parts of the developed world that are feeling the effect of the tariffs.
Where does China fit in this? You talked about infrastructure, and China has come in with both money and skill, financing for infrastructure across Africa. Is there a bigger role for China in that area of the economy? Certainly the experience with other African countries has certainly been rather mixed in taking Chinese infrastructure projects and the financing that comes with it.
As I said earlier, there's a tendency to take a Minecraft approach to Africa. It's not a game, and we are not infants. We know what is good for us, what's in our interest, so we don't need to be protected. We can protect ourselves when we're dealing with China. China's Belt and Road Initiative is good for Africa. It is something that is already benefiting countries like Nigeria, the linkages, and we are looking towards achieving similar results with Europe, with the Global Gateway Initiative, and of course other partners, the US, India, Brazil. We're doing a lot. We have a strategic partnership with Brazil as well. So, China is doing a lot, and we're partnering, and we have laws, we have regulatory frameworks in different sectors that.
You've talked about energy, and obviously energy and the huge gas resources that Nigeria has, and I think you're planning pipelines that will take the gas. They are taking it around West Africa, but the potential is to take them on even into Europe. You've also talked about the potential of attracting investors in AI, in data centers, because they absorb such a huge amount of power. And yet, Nigeria can't even keep the lights on for its own citizens. How can you bring in that investment, bring in the as you said, the business, the outsourcing? How can you bring in the tech investment if you can't provide that fundamental infrastructure for businesses?
So it would serve a dual purpose. We bring in the investors, they generate what they want, and then
You think you're fine after a car accident until this happens. Most people don't realize that even accidents that seem minor can financially destroy you when the real costs hit.
We also need to improve on electricity supply domestically, which is what we're doing, and we have prepared the ground. We have an Electricity Act. We're doing a lot, not just with gas, but also with renewables. We have, within the Electricity Act, it's made investing in electricity generation, transmission, distribution more attractive because it's decoupled the different aspects, and on top of that, you have new ways of attracting investors in renewables, such as feed-in tariffs and so forth. So it's something that I don't see any conflict in that, because we have a gas pipeline that takes gas to Ghana, for instance, via Republic of Benin and Togo. So that is being used also for electricity in the region. But we're currently also building another gas pipeline, the Ajakuta Abuja Kaduna Kano gas pipeline that runs across Nigeria, which would also solve the problem of the feedstock for generating electricity.
President Tinubu has implemented two very significant reforms. One was floating the Naira. There's still a parallel market, but it's really eased up the whole complex Forex situation in Nigeria. He's also removed fuel subsidies, two of the really big moves. What's the next big reform that's coming down that's going to start creating that environment that's going to attract more investors?
There are several. The taxes, there's a huge reform that has just taken place with our tax laws. They have been consolidated. They've been made easier. So the tax code is more understandable to investors, and it brings down the rates as well in terms of investors and how much taxes they have to pay, both locally in the states, because we have 36 states that they would be investing in, as well as the federal taxes. So that is really huge, and it's just a matter of the private sector comprehending the opportunities therein and taking advantage of them.
As we near the end, there's an interesting question here, because it does get directly to the issue of foreign investors. What steps, what assurances can the government give that foreign investors can repatriate their capital? We know that has been an issue, indeed, for Gulf investors here, for Gulf airlines. Emirates and Etihad had a problem a couple of years ago. So what assurances can you give that there won't be a problem for foreign investors to repatriate their capital?
Well, you can see it happening, because part of the problem was availability of foreign exchange. And you can see that the foreign exchange is now available. The exchange rate has stabilized, and even Nigerians are having access to foreign exchange, to dollars. You can actually deposit dollars in your DOM account and travel and use your credit card and spend dollars. So that is something that we should watch to see, which is indicative of the availability. But one of our major challenges at the moment is the false narratives that are being created about Nigeria. This issue of religious persecution, the Christians are being persecuted, which couldn't be further from the truth, and it's something that I think the investors need to come and see for themselves. And we have businesses that have been in Nigeria for decades. They have not left. And if indeed there was religious persecution or any other form of persecution, then they wouldn't be there.
Well, thank you very much, Minister. Reuters is all about making sure we tell the right narrative, so let's hope that narrative gets out there. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
A lot has been said. Many things has been said. Let's go back and unpack every. This interview that took place, let me see. When was this again? Oh shit! So it was even uploaded 5 hours ago. So pretty much is an event that is going on right now. Anyway, now our minister with that, Yusuf Maitama Turker is the Minister of Foreign Affairs. I'm not gonna lie, I like the way he spoke. I like his answers. It's not timid or intimidated. Speak in which every Nigerian official should be speaking. Asserting some kind of power in the conversation that knows that we know our rightful place in the Committee of Nations, even though it's laughable. But the fact that it knows that we know what we are supposed to be doing. Let me put it that way, right? As a government, as a nation, they know what they are supposed to be doing. But the pressure, I should say, for lack of words, that they are facing is pretty much telling. So I think the issue pretty much centered about trade. Although even though it started with the relationship with the Nigeria and Trump administration because of the tariff. And I like how he navigated that pressure, although it came off very kind of as if maybe he wasn't ready for that kind of question or how it was phrased, you know. But he wiggled himself out of that corner, and I think I appreciate how or what he said about the tariff is there. We ain't going to die. We're not going to die because of the tariff. We're a big nation, you know, we should be able to survive. I totally agree with him, but I don't know about that. I hope we are not because the what he's saying does not necessarily tailor with the action of the administration. What do I mean? I mean Bola Tinubu, even though he only take a detour in America, not necessarily have visited the United States. He has taken a detour when he was going to Brazil for the BRICS meeting, but he went through what would be this Caribbean island again. Same talks on one small Caribbean island line. But before going there, he had to take a detour from Miami. Was it Miami or LA? No, I think it's Miami. Stop over in Miami then. So to those who were saying he hasn't been to America, but we understand that's not official. No, not just pass by. But the business class of United States who are investing in Nigeria are pretty much cool. In fact, they are smiling and happy as shit because their business is going on straight without any restriction. Their more doors are open. Nigeria is more wider than ever before for them to invest. Remember when Buhari closed borders? That was hard, really. That was kind of hard on the international community. But Nigerians, business people, in terms of farmers, kind of appreciated that. And I remember when Buhari said, "We either grow what we eat, or eat what we grow, or we die, or go and die." So we are at that. We are in the mix, in the middle of that. Pretty much what Buhari mean what he meant with grow what you eat what you grow, or you die. All right, so we are here now. Um, a minute. Let's see. Let me see if I can get this thing hooked up and get a better audio. Yes. The heck? Hmm. Yep. I hope this is better. I hope this is better. And German, I greeted you. You said, Trump, I beg. Why you dey beg? Trump, I beg, not hit us with your anger or tax in UK. Oops, too late. Too late. I think UK settled for 15%, if I'm not mistaken. But they had a very no, Nigeria man, no worry. You should worry about tax in Nigeria. You will they go Nigeria often. Nigeria, if I'm not mistaken, the current tax that they are working on, if you go Nigeria, I think it's going to start from 2026. If you go Nigeria, let's say you go Nigeria in January and you stay 2, 3 weeks, 1 month, and you go back, you go back to your base. Then maybe 6 months later, you can't go back. Spend 1, 2, 3 months. Automatically, you will be taxed unless you can prove it that you've already paid tax where you are coming from. So these people are not fucking around. In as far you they live and breathe, you go pay tax. However, they no even want where you get job, you no get job. Because the empire is at war and they need money to prosecute that war. So everybody, all the colonies will pay up. It is the colony that will finance the war. That's how it works. So I don't know where begging Trump will help you, because you should be praying that more civil war no starts tomorrow. Because you guys are broke. Money no day. They no get money and they won't fight war. See that shit? So I better wanna like, share, and subscribe. Um so as I said, I like the posture, I like the language, I like all the display from our minister representing well, but again, I'm not sold necessarily just because of his performance. I'm not sold because the action of Bola Tinubu government and their rhetoric in no match, right? Is from the minister interview here. The guy they show muscle. We are a big country. We are too big to fail. We have so much oil. We have gas. We are. It's a time that we start trading with other countries. We are tired of just being the resource, the natural, the primary resources provider. We want to be part of the manufacturing process too. All those good stuff. All those good stuff. But the action of the administrations speak contrary to that. Money is still coming in from abroad, from the Americans, to invest in our oil sector, in our healthcare, in our education, in our agriculture. How you beat that? So there's no way we can start producing, manufacturing, be in a position to actually determine the terms of trade when we ain't contributing nothing to the process other than raw materials, and we are not the one extracting the raw material. They have to come with their equipment, with their expertise, and do the extraction. Nigga, you are entitled to whatever they gave you. That's what it means. That's exactly what it means. If all your contribution to the process, from the extraction to the finishing good, if all your contribution is just that, oh, I am housing these resources. You are housing these resources, so it's not yours. Then you don't have any bragging rights. So I think this public display, this performance, is just to appease the ordinary Nigerian. But deep down, the Americans are smiling home. So are the British, so are the Germans, so are the French, so are the Brazilians. Pretty much, there are more countries who are directly the finger us than in my lifetime. So far, I never see so many countries devouring our resources free of charge, like never before in history. Before we only get the maybe only the British, maybe French, which other country again that actually in our neck. So the only two countries that actually have what it takes to. Then gradually America come in and displace pretty much those people. Italians were we here too, but they left early. So, but as I speak today, hey, Americans are leading, China's are in Nigeria, the Dutch are in Nigeria, the German are in Nigeria, the French are in Nigeria, the British are in Nigeria, the Israeli are in Nigeria, the Qatari are in Nigeria, the United Arab Emirates are in Nigeria, the Saudi Arabia are in Nigeria, Italians are back. So that country I know of recently that Bola Tinubu bring to come and explore. So all this country came into Nigeria because they have a very solid deal. Remember, in order for America to get the European nation to be fully committed in going after Russia and China, they had to actually choke them. Choke in the sense that France is the obvious one. They were pushed out of Niger, pretty much all their where their source of wealth is coming from, were pushed out. People don't understand. It is because that's what the Americans want. Indian, thank you. So, so when this man they run him out as if he's actually pushing back on the Americans, Japan, if you thank you, Najama, all these countries, all of them, aside China and Russia, this all of them are appendix of the United States. In other words, America has to say go. That's why even the Russians, I don't think Russia are in Nigeria like that. German, prove me, correct me if I'm wrong. As we speak, I don't think there's any Russian investment like that in Nigeria. So, and Chinese were able to come in because of the relationship with the we were having with the Americans. After all, that their products they see they come via China. So all these men, all these our Bola Tinubu men, they can flex muscle all they want on the platform, on TV, and all that. But I'm not sold. I look at the footprint of their movements, Every fucking foreign investor in Nigeria is freaking happy. Like they've never been this happy. You remember during Buhari, all of them they complain, airline no fit withdraw their money. You understand? Because once you take that money out of Nigeria, you are taking everything. But if you leave that money in Nigeria, people will profit over. They will use it. Even at the banker, they just use it and they lend. It's good. So they were all crying from Delta Airline to United Airline to Emirates to Doha. All of them were crying because their money were kind of trapped. But since the Bola Tinubu administration, oh la la, all of them they float. They are happy as hell. Forget all this propaganda of genocide taking place. No, all those one too. It's all part of the investments. So Trump just look for UK problems. See the way he intimidated our prime minister. No, don't America don't take over the UK decades ago. No be now. They don't take over America, Britain long ago. So any prime minister we wanna get now, then co-sign out. Anyone where they no co-sign, they take them out. If you go back to Boris Johnson, right? When Boris Johnson come, he begin to do like globalist, even though he came into nationalist, which is British and all that. He begin to act like a globalist. Then they push him out. So it's happening. They only negotiated with Russia for Ajakuta steel. Only, yes. That was in the 70s. Again, that was when America hasn't fully had Nigeria under its cocoon. So if you remember that during the Cold War, with that, so I met the Nigerians just like this minister they talk now that Nigeria is big enough. We are in a position to trade with whoever we want to trade with. Good luck. I see how long it will last, because now the same thing happened. If you look at the 70s, right, the Nigerians were literally pivoting to the Russian. Of course, just as you put it, the result is Ajakuta cement. There's so many other things that came out from that. But as the Cold War continues, they begin to lose leverage. This is where Obasanjo is important to the conversation of Nigeria, right? Ajakuta cement was a result of um, we are still pretty much regionalism as at that time, kinda, or we are just that's when the whole fight to close off all started. So as soon as I think as soon as Abasanjo came in, that's when the disengagement started. Then they kill. Yeah, of course, Murtala Muhammad was killed, and that it was the beginning to the end of the Ajakuta investment. So you see how you see the difference now. Thank you, Najaman. You actually hit the core. The difference between Nigeria having a bilateral trade engagement with other multiple nations than just one way for the American sanction, right? But I don't know. As I said, the way their rhetoric sounds very encouraging to Nigerians. But if you are paying attention to their footprints, you'll be angry. Best for these people. Because we are my hunger is that not we are not even as a United States they destabilize the world, they reset the world, they reshift their manufacturing process back home, everywhere outside China and India. We lost that. We lost because we are unable to attract any of those factories, any of those companies who are leaving China, leaving India to Nigeria. They are in Kenya, they are in Rwanda, they are in all those East African countries. Now, it might be a good thing when it comes to Nigeria. It might be a good thing, right? Because in a way, that should spur us to start our own. But unfortunately, we don't have the leadership or the generation that will take that route because it's not going to be easy. If you look, the one of the questions the man asked our minister, using Ghana as an example, which is what as the result of accepting deportee. At the beginning of things, I was scared. I said, "Kai, this thing, not that I was scared for Nigeria, but the government in power. Because I was thinking that the government with power will be scared not to invite the warrant of the United States and just accept to bring the party. But I think this is where I will give the northern elite, northern leaders credit. I think they are the one that stands their ground and say, you know what, if you accept this thing at your own detriment. So the fact that the minister said, well, I think we have passed this bridge. We passed this matter don't close. This idea of you will accept your refugees gone. So the guy who was, the journalist who was answering the minister the question used Ghana as an example. Say Ghana now because they accept the deportees, they have a better relationship with America in regards to visa. They are easy to get visa and they have multiple entries and they stay longer. I'm proud. Say Our government did not fall for that. In fact, may them say may then they stop all of us from coming to America. It go good. It go good. If the result of not accepting deportee is to block us from coming to America, oh yeah, I will support it. If it doesn't, oh, because I don't really in America. No, that's not the point. It's not about me. It's not about me. It's about 40 years from now, 60 years from now, 100 years from now. If that is going to be my sacrifice for the next generation to build upon, so be it. Because that's how we should be thinking. What the sacrifice we are going to make. Because in order for us to have a better, respectable relationship, building on Minister of Foreign Affairs, what he said, in order for us to have a very strong alliance, not just with every other country, it has to be on a respectable ground. We have to be able to stand our own ground, not just saying it, but living it. We have to be ready to sacrifice. People will die. No be by bullet, by hunger. Because by the time America start to sanction the hell out of Nigerian elites, because the average Nigerian man no bother start with sanction me. You know, he or she don't give a fuck. They don't they live in a very obscure situation anyway. So what the heck? But the educated class, the so-called intellectuals, the business class, they will never ever knowingly sign to go against the foreign investors. They would rather connive with the foreign investors and fuck you over. So they cannot give up their luxury. But that should not stop us. That shouldn't be the reason we shouldn't give a fuck. If they are going to choose their luxury life over the betterment of the general society, let's go to war, politically speaking. Anybody will get investment for abroad, either by form of education, family, business, holiday, should doesn't deserve to be voted into public office in Nigeria because we are all compromised. We are all compromised. Not necessarily say we just go so no. The fact that we cannot move in mass to Nigeria and actually take the system head on. That's what I mean by we are compromised. We cannot live like our lofty jobs, comfort zone, and all that kind of noise. Who never? Nobody will go back to darkness, right? But I'm putting it in a lighter note, but that's exactly what it's going to take for us to actually move to the next level. If it's in our future at all, I mean, with our life today, with this generation of Nigeria. We they live like people we don't arrive, like a developed country. We are living like a developed country. That's our problem. Never reach that level where basically you want Nigerians would get multiple cars, multiple houses. No, that has to be looked into. The idea is that you are riding brand new cars, building mansion, and you can't tell the whole world that like no, nobody people just look at you and laugh. They talked about how we are going to be 400 millions in the next couple of decades. If today we are not in control of our agricultural sector, because that's the basics. That means we can feed ourselves. If we are not in control, if we don't still get hold of our agricultural sector, which is still largely in the hands of foreigners, either by blocking us from going fully into agriculture and feed ourselves, blocking on in the sense that they poured all sorts of shit in order for us not to, or they are deliberately cracking on the farmers, killing the farmers, taking their land. The fact that we are not in control of how we feel means we never even reach we never even start. So we are 230 million. We can't feed ourselves. Now we don't reach 400, now we will feed ourselves. Not that we'll be hungry, we will not be hungry. Other people will feed us. And that's dangerous. The day they say no shit, you go shit, they cut off your food. Then by force, you no go see shit. So then the next stage, industrial revolution, that we don't pass also. It passes us. We are not even close. If we still have that dream, because we have to do that. I say we are not even close because we don't get light. Even the guy who is a minister, he said it. If we in 2025, no longer industrial revolution, we are in information revolution, powered by AI, robotics, you name it. This is not power. During agricultural revolution, you can survive, you can feed without power, right? At least at the beginning, go your farm and all that. Even when they took over the process with machine, to some way. But industrial revolution, you no get power, that means you no get factory, that means you no get production machine, you no fit do anything. And that was obvious. This information revolution that require power 1 million times more than what we currently have. That means we never get anything. We have to have 100% electricity, not just in the urban cities alone, but the rural areas and everywhere, before we stand a chance in even think or negotiating how we should use AI. If not, they would tell us how to use them and what we should use it for. And we have to take it. Blessed. I remember telling someone that talking about being compromised, I get the job and the house. Just take a look at the politicians we have. Most of them came from the West and they act. Oh, of course. That's why I dey always talk say anybody wey school for abroad should not be allowed into an executive office. Go and serve as a technocrat, go and be a minister or something. But being a chairman, governor, or president is just too much. We can't afford to put somebody who his DNA is everywhere in America, in London, is outside Nigeria. There's no way. So that's why I say all these men can speak grammar all they want, they can puff their chest all they want. But act accordingly, make I see before I go respect you. So yes, I agree. All our politicians, from local government to presidency, they are all they are not Nigerians. Let me put it that way. Those who are local champion, as soon as they get to that office, give them 1 year to 2 years before you know they don't import their family out of their villages. I get some from my village. No be saying just the read newspaper or headlines. No, that's our reality. Every Nigerian public servant's dream is to ship his or her family out of the country while in power, because that's the only time you can do it with the state resources and with the state privileges. So blessed, I am totally with you. So I know they just focus on the politicians are the corporates. Now Obi be my Obi. I think Obi and Showore are the worst. Obi and Showore are the worst. Their assurance in life is insured outside the country. What I mean is the assurance that their family, because that's what it's about for people like those. It's no longer about them, but about their family. And their family is well secured. Their family are far from the action zone. Then somebody will not tell me I should go and vote for that kind of person. How? How? When you don't have any skin in the game, other than to come and run your mouth on. Nah. When you are in the war zone with your family, let's go. Let's go. But you know, if you keep your family, you cannot keep your family away from the action zone, and you are telling me to vote for you, and you and me go carry my two left leg vote for you. Nah, that's I don't know, man. That's a crime that should not be forgiven. But again, I no blame them. I no blame them at all because in a way we love it. We love it. No be say Peter Obi alone carry im family comot for Nigeria. Even his wealth, what the profit he has successfully acquired using Nigerians, importing all sorts of nonsense for us to consume. Guess what? He didn't invest that money back into the economy. He carry and go put for other people economy, mean that they use and they build their own. But he said they want to come and build Nigeria. And guess what? People who are educated though forget the average Nigerian who don't understand how the system works are running after him, thinking he's coming to change Nigeria. How? How? All the American government need to do, or any other country that need to get, not to just go Panama and seize his account. It's over. You do whatever the fuck they want. The same thing with Showore. Ah, so we need to start being real with ourselves. Nothing for Showore is better. He cover up with his role play activism. Bullshit. Blessing. Bullshit. Which can better? His children are in America living their best life because that is his investment. Nigeria no be his investment. It's not dying for Nigeria for dying sake. It's dying for Nigeria so that his family will flourish. Carry my family come put for abroad. Put like 50 million, put like $5 million, take back them up. If me sef no go dey Nigeria, they slap every politician. What do they want to do me? Kill me. I'm good, man. My family will live. So I don't show it's not better at all. Bring your family, let them be living, make we know their address. So that when everybody this street, then say we enter street. So I see what you are saying in terms of even show what they say. Show what the business is not in Nigeria now. You don't get one business for Nigeria. Even Sahara reporters no get. I don't think today you still have office in Nigeria. But these are men that will come stand in front of us. As far as I'm concerned, an insult. An insult. And these same people will go sit down, they criticize president from traveling abroad. How you no go travel? Where investment then abroad today? You knew all this before you voted for him. So I am not I'm not accommodating the likes of Tinubu, and I think that's one of the cardinal reasons that made me support Eponko. So I saw him as a village champion. I know his family lives in Nigeria. His businesses that I know of are in Nigeria. I never know of any of his. I've never heard of his account outside Nigeria. I'm not saying they are not, but I don't know. So if anybody bring anyone for me, but his participation in that debate at Chatham House, and me now finding the role of Chatham House is playing to keep us where we are. I was like, hell no. It's not going to. I'm done. So none is better off. Oh, sure, they can fool himself what he wants. In fact, there was, as I said, those two people, Shore and Kilompe Obi, nah, should go away. Go away. Go away. Come also ask if we are now what they ask for me that. Another person that I'm not truly that I kind of I'm literally closing on him in terms of his connection to the south and the west. Who is Atiku? I can't really say this is where his investment in all these places. I'm not saying you no get to, but investors apart from the fact that he invested in Nigeria, it's not it doesn't strike me like somebody who pro west or pro south. Not that he's against them, which is more dangerous, right? It's not speaking up against them. So if I'm in a position to give anybody a chance right now, I think I would choose him based on that alone. I'm not saying he's coming to turn the country around, but the fact that relatively he have more skin in the game than these two people make him stand out for me. Yes, he lived in Dubai for sure. That I know. Yes, I think that's the only way. That's the only thing I'm kind of suspicious of, right? Yeah, because that's why, in a way, it's if I group him among other ones as the same, I think I'm not out of place. But now, if we want to consider which of them is more exposed, his family lives in Nigeria. They are always in Nigeria. The family, you can trace the family, Atiku family, to Nigeria. You can trace one or two of his investments to Nigeria. And I think that living in Dubai, he has come to terms with it that Nigerians are not cool with that. And the fact that Obi is here to stay, the guy don't really go back to Dubai as he used to, right? Which is a good thing. Boom, 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 boom. I see. What's in the news? What is do, do, do. It's not my YouTube channel. All this cool of a thing. I just don't. I tell Dr. Damages here now props to promote his protest, but the thing no work. I spend more energy promoting the events than what events. You get one. There's a video I saw of Dele Farotimi, and that guy. I don't know. Yeah, the no, it's the guy going into venturing into partisan politics. Yes, it's good, but I don't think they understand the implication of that. And it's telling. It's telling us, see, and they shout, they criticize it, that we don't have a statement again. That's
There is
the
nothing inherently wrong with us that makes it impossible for us to achieve a just society. Some people are benefiting from the moribund.
so it's criticizing where are the elders? Where are the elders? And I was like, this motherfucker, excuse my Yoruba, when Obasanjo came out publicly and declared for Peter will be the right letter, people like me were alarmed. I was like, nah. Now, I am not saying Obasanjo is not entitled to support who the fuck he want to support. No. But the position he occupied in our today Nigeria, that's a wrong move to make. Support the candidate you want to support codedly for one obvious reason, which is what Dele Farotimi is crying now. For one obvious reason. So that anytime we as a people find ourselves in a situation whereby we have to look to an elder who is not partisan, we will look up to him. But at this point that you came out, you have your own political candidate. If I'm having issue, nobody we can't go to you because you're already biased. But people like Dele Farotimi could not say it because of their personal and selfish interests, politically speaking, because he came out and support his candidate. He wrong with it. In fact, he was ready to shoot everybody, politically speaking, who go against Obasanjo coming out. But people like us saw ahead and said, come, in every society, you have an elder or elders who you can easily run to, not because he know it all, but because he's neutral. And you can rely on his counsel. But this man right here couldn't see that. He was so much carried away with the fact that his candidate is getting endorsed by Obasanjo. Today, I saw it. Wait, let me find it. Look, I saw a video wherein they cry about where are the others? Where are the others? Nigga, the others are in politics just like you. Let me see if I can see that video. I was really pissed. Where are the elders? Where are the elders? You elders, you were dancing when the elders came out and choose their and took sides. So they fortified that title of being called an elder when you decided to go into the race. Oh man, this blessing. I don't know where on Instagram I saw that video when they where are the elders? Who are the elders? A country without elders. Nigga, shut the fuck up, man. Oh man, I see that video when they. It's kind of. I think it came from the video. I don't want to play the whole. I don't want to play the whole Kilon player. The whole video is long, but somebody maybe not him. It was him that cropped out a section, like 5 minutes. Let me see if I can find it. The thing go dey inside Facebook. Yeah, sorry, Instagram. Let's see.
say it is time, I'm saying it is time to organize to end this madness. To do so, fashion. To do so, setting out clearly. When I say
now for Instagram, that video day, maybe not. Yeah, see, don't stay silent. Could be too. Let me see.
Have you been wanting to create passive income?
Man,
láàárọ̀ ìbẹ́ bá ṣe rí mi lẹ́ṣẹ̀ gbà mí torí kò yé mi ju gbogbo ẹ̀ bó kàn ṣe ń rí jangan léèní tí ó gbọ́ mi ọjọ́ rí. N tí mo fẹ́ sọ lọ́sẹ̀ yìí gangan
let me see.
ó jálè nǹkan kan tó.
All right, let me play this. Let me play it here like this. Let me be like,
Nice to end this. When I say it is time, I am saying it is time to organize to end this madness. To do so in a non-violent fashion. To do so, setting out clearly a way for all of us to come together, because without organizing, we become a mob. A mob is easily defeated. But if we organized ourselves across the 774 local governments of Nigeria, and Nigerian victims are to be found everywhere in Nigeria, the biggest problem we've had is an inability to synergize and to organize ourselves. It is time to organize. It is time to begin to look beyond all the things that have divided us. Because if we do not organize, if we continue agonizing, this system will collapse and we will be the collateral damage. America cares nothing about me and you. Neither do the religious rulers of this country. The politicians care nothing. If we are going to survive the implosion that is almost certain to come, it will be because we found common purpose. In the absence of common purpose, I need us to remember we are lacking in national institutions that can preserve this country by the time the coming implosions come. It is only the victims uniting that can hold this country together. Everything that hails the Hausa man, hails the Igbo man, hails the Yoruba man, hails the Ijaw man. The only thing that unites Nigerians are our sufferings. And surely it shouldn't be too difficult for us to find common purpose in the midst of what has happened to all of us. When I say it is time, I am saying it is time to organize to end this madness. To do so in a non-violent fashion.
They are now coming to my church. You know, that has been my sermon for years now. It's a difference between organizing and mobilizing. Organizing takes time, take resources, take everything. But I don't know Boya if he's the right person to actually make that call, because hey, it's an obedience. He has already taken a side. So all these people, I don't think him in particular, this is the difference to me of a guy. I was kind of really disappointed when he came out they support Obi. Again, it is not about him supporting Obi. It's about that coming out with the position he was already occupying as a public analyst and intellectual. That is quite different from people that we see on TV every day. He was holding a special place in my heart. But when the guy come out like so big, so straight up partisan, I was disappointed. I'm not disappointed because he decided to be politically active. That's what everybody should do. But the way Amanda each way it pulled it up, he did it. I know it's going to backfire. Now you are calling for an organized, we should organize. How about sure you're not saying we should organize on that will be or under obedience? There's nothing wrong with that, but that is a political movement that is tailored towards someone already. So if you are making this call 3, 4, 5 years ago, about why not? It's too late now. I mean, I'm not saying it's too late, but you have to be very specific. Contextualize the kind of organizing you are asking for. Talk to the obedient. I don't think at this point you have the right to actually proposed to the entire nation this kind of proposal you are making, it's not going to work, especially not when political in when it's almost 2 years to, I mean, less than a year for campaign to start. That's what people are not talking about. Election is not 2 years from now or 18, whatever. From no, election literally is kind of 5 6 months from now or January, and you are not coming up with your organize and do what? That's my question to him. To do what? Because if you are speaking from the realm of taking our country from Western interior and those who are helping them to divorce, I don't sure say you will make that call publicly because Obi will be the first victim. He will be the first victim. So since when he come begin go America, I don't thought he know they go America before. Since after his ordeal with the legal Kilo Nkwensi, the Ado Ekiti man, the guy became frequent America from Washington D.C. to Maryland to Chicago. I was like, hell no, it's over. His sister self, Aisha Yusuf, begin route America like saying their village. I'm not saying they cannot afford to travel to America or anywhere they want as they wish. No, no, that's not the point. The point is that I mean, it's not a coincidence. Mm, 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 mm. Not when I know how USAID they work. If you understand the how USAID they operate, and then you begin to smile when you see these men they fly in and out of DC. Don't be just them anyway. Even our own, the other politicians who are still looking for position. I think at this point, USAID should be a subject in Nigerian secondary schools and primary schools. Make them go print the whole expose of USAID. This is out there. It's not saying that they leak them or no. This is not them themselves. 63 years we're operating in Nigeria. As far as I'm concerned, only that, just US aid, it's enough to be standing known as an history class. USAID, all these people are product of USAID. That document, that expose should be a subject in Nigerian university. You know? So, all these guys, as soon as Obi finish election, they go into all of them begin come America on a, I just say a course in the condo, which is great. Which is great. AY,
Okay,
how far?
orders.
Huh? You say I should hold on or what?
Alpha, oh God.
I did life.
I just like, huh?
I did life. May I bring you in? Where you there? You don't reach us.
I don't reach out. Yesterday,
Oh yeah.
Saturday, Washington.
Wait till you dey. If you are not busy now, come online. I did live. Make we talk this thing way.
In fact, one of my car, I leave us a dirty, and now I want to clean up. Just wait, I will join you. Give me a few minutes, I'll join you. I'll quick reach out.
All right. Blessed. You see them. Now them be our problem. One of my cars. You see? All these people no fit fight for Nigeria again. They too get money. No wahala, no. All right. Thanks, man. Blessed said, who will do that? On YouTube, you can't get enough information on USAID, not to mention Nigerian schools. No. I get what you are saying. No, if the Nigerians, because China do something that we need to, the 100 years of humiliation, right? There's a reason they phrase that period like that. Now the same thing with the experience, because the 100 years of humiliation where China phrased like that was because almost all the European nations were devouring them during that period. They literally exactly what they are doing to us now. That's what they did in China. Explore all their resources, disbataze their governance, their society, just exactly what we are doing today. They experienced that for over 100 years. And after that, they said never again. So when I say they should take USAID as a class, I mean the government, even though I just shout because the government, the American government too. But we need an authority that will come. No, make them not go YouTube. Go YouTube now. People like me and the rest, they explain what USAID meant, what he has done. We had our own 2 questions now. We don't forget everything. But there is a complete expose on it. If you go to US website, go to US Congress, you will see everything, because they don't officially, the USAID USAID has been discontinued, or it has been moved to the State Department, aka War Department. So they are still using it. That same War Department has given Nigeria $32.5 million already the last 2 months. So they are still. So what I'm saying, I'm not saying make them go YouTube. No, make them designate USAID. What USAID had done in Nigeria for the past 63 years. Because now USAID now organize us after we get independent. When I mean organize us, our school curriculum, the way we worship our own God, the way we do business, the way we govern ourselves. These are the brainchild of United States of America, facilitated through USAID. So there's more to it. When I say it started since 1963, that was before Civil War. That was before assassination of our leaders, non-leaders, everything. So they are at the foundation of our problem, if I have to use it that way. Because if we are not proud of ourselves where we have gotten to after 63 years, then we should call it the problem. So I'm just saying we should use that China analogy just to show it in our case. Bring USAID come. All their programs, government know their program, even if we don't know, they never born us that time. So we are not privy to some countries that are not documented or made public for us to go do research. So governments know. So we should start educating our next generation, the younger generation, how USAID got into Nigeria, under which regime, what are their first program, how much are they, like everything. You will find out that all our parasites at every junction, all these are educated, Nobel laureate, all those rubbish, are all product of USAID. Again, and it is like that because they use it to fight the Soviet Union during the Cold War. Remember, the Cold War was just aftermath of the Second World War, which was bloody. So ideologically, there's no need for them to dislodge USSR because these are the two empires standing strong after the Second World War. So there was a competition how the rest of the world should go. So immediately, we are also the product of after the Second World War. Because it was after the Second World War, after the United States of America emerged victory, they begin to go around all the colonies of the British people to restructure them. So they restructured Nigeria from regional government to unitary government. I should tell you a lot. With the help of USAID on ground, the role USAID played during our civil war. So there's so much to teach the young generation that we don't even need to go anywhere. Just that period, because that's our modern history. Let's forget about before the coming of the intruders now, before we're independent. That's a different, that's a life on its own, right? Because we have to teach who we were before they came. So who we were before when the Portuguese find their way to Nigeria, 1400, 14th century. Who we were first, second, third, fourth. I know a little bit about what the Benin Kingdom used to be from 700, the 7th century to 1897 or 1898 when we were invaded. Let me see. British invasion of Benin Kingdom. Yeah. Yes. February 1879. I was right. The British invasion of the Benin Kingdom of the Kingdom of Benin, also known as the Benin Primitive Expedition, began in February 1879. British force captured Benin City on February 1879 after 10 days military campaign. See? So there's a history before 1900. Then there is a, because that was when they finally captured. Because if you remember, 5 years, no, sorry, about 17 years after the invasion of Benin, Nigeria was amalgamated. We amalgamated in 1914. The invasion of Benin Kingdom was 1897. From 1897 to 1914 is what? 17 years, less than a generation. Then another history will begins from 1914, right, to 1960. That's another. So I'm saying because American, that's what they do. I met Shena two-star military officer who ended up becoming a lecturer at their war college, currently teaching at the University of Austin. His specialty is the Second World War. That's what he teaches. So we need to find specialists, right? Specialists, people who dedicated their research work in studying these periods that I spoke about. From the 1st century to 7th century, I don't get clue yet. I've not dived into that. But from 7th century to date, I have I have a pretty much understanding of Nigeria of that time. Well, I'm not saying Nigeria, the Benin Kingdom of that time up to date. Then I also have a relative understanding of the Second World War, First World War, because they always talk as if you don't understand First World War, you don't have idea what is going on right now in the world. I challenge anybody. If you have no clue about World War One, what led to World War One, and what happened after that, you have no clue of the world that you are living today. I don't give a fuck if you name all the president, if you no, that's nothing to do with that. Because the world that we live in today started taking shape from 1700. What happened in 1700? America getting their independence. Yep. I think the French Revolution was in that period too. Let's see. Mona, bear with me. We will see. You will see why I said Third World War is already in motion. The French Revolution. Let me see. Make I know. Make I get my. Yeah, 1789. That was French. So in 1700, events that cumulated to that shaped the world that we see today. You have to go and understand 1700. That is the 7 years war of the 7 years war between the French and the British. Then eventual the eventual revolution with from the 13 colonies of the United States that led to their own independence. Then what the French why French Revolution is so important, because it did not just change the government or freedom, they changed the whole society. Everything changes. It pretty much killed everyone that was part and parcel of their old world, from the emperor to gateman, even to those who are still advocating for it, were almost assassinated. So the whole society changed. Then from there on, the German got their independence, I think 30 years after America. (1871). So you see why the talks is 1700 is pretty much the foundation of the world that we are living today. Now, I changed to a different word entirely within the next 15 to 20 years. But that's a different conversation. So you see how important the developments, the events that took place in the 1700, how important it is to the world that we are living today. Now, all these things cumulated to what eventually become the First World War. And don't forget, the Ottoman Empire was still in existence. The British people have Ottoman Empire on their site because they wanted the control of oil in Kuwait, in Iraq. In order for them to do that successfully, they have to take the obstacle on their way, which is the Ottoman Empire. In the process of doing that, that's where Palestine find themselves where they are today. I mean, the Israel find themselves where they are today. So in order to weaken the Ottoman Empire, but to first of all bring the Israel that we see today existed there and empire. So the main casualty of First World War was the Ottoman Empire. which automatically opened the African continent to them. But the Ottoman Empire was pretty much in control to some extent. So you see all the events that happened 1700. Now, fast forward to 1800. That's when America started getting their economic independence. Hence, the Monroe Doctrine, James Monroe, who became the fifth president of the United States in 1832. In 1823, he declared that the Americas is out of reach of the European empires, the German, the French, the what have you, pack your load and get the fuck out. If you see your two left leg in any of this land, from Brazil to Canada to Peru to anywhere, we are a what national security threat. So if you pay attention to today, America won't change the government of Maduro. They frame it as a war against drugs. Not lie. They want access to that their way back in, because Maduro was able to annihilate them from it. That's America don't live for that. America live for resources. Wherever the resources is located, the primary beneficiary of that resource should be the American business people, or they will die there. Hence, China's are getting it. Russia's are not, because they want access to that. So anybody who denied them that access will face exactly what Maduro is about to face. The same thing in Nigeria. If Nigeria decide to pivot away from America, we will get it. Does that stop us from doing that? No. Just to let us know that's what it's going to take. Who will do that on YouTube? You can't get enough information. Okay, no, things I see that. So then, when we finally into the 1800s, you see, so 1800, there's war all those throughout 1700. So Americans have been fighting war. The world has been entangled with war. So 1800, America has come of age. Of course, German are getting stronger. So tension started brewing. So when America take that decision, the James Monroe Doctrine, pursue all the European empire of the Americas, within that lead to? It lead to what? The Berlin 1845. Berlin 1845 is when the European empires, they were pushed out of the Americas, assembled in Berlin. And guess what? They say Africa is the next place to divorce. Since they don't deny or denies all access to America's resources, from Haiti to America to Brazil, they don't chase them out. What next? Bam, bam. They assembled themselves in Berlin, and the idea of demarcating Africa took shape. Now, Germans will left out. There is a need for the queen as at that time to bring the German into the force. I think it's Queen Victoria. At one point, Queen Victoria's children, one was the Tsar of Russia, one was in charge of Germany, one was in charge of France. I mean, like pretty much all the big empire that children did it. I mean, now, don't tell me how that come to happen. It happens. How did it happen? I don't know. Not that I don't know, but it's a long story. So hence they need to bring German in. In the process of bringing German into the scramble of Africa, it not work as they expected it. So with the tension with that, they don't get with the tension with that. So the French had to, and the America and the British had to say, "Come, this German, this small boy Germany, we just get freedom these days. They are becoming out of control." And it's the Second World War. So all these things. So this century is not going to be different. There was war in the 17th, there was war in the 18th, there was war in the 19th, which is the so this ain't gonna be different. So there's history. There's a history that people need to specialize in teaching, not on YouTube, but like really classroom. Now you have to teach that and how it affected us. One of the reasons that get me interested in all this bullshit now when I attend history class for school year, the professor was literally shedding tears. No, the professor was literally celebrating when he was telling the history of how they destroyed Japan, Hiroshima, how they dropped nuclear bomb on Hiroshima. Then a couple of days after that lecture, I attend the professor um, he wrote a book that he was about to launch, but he needed to talk about it. So he invited pretty much community and students alike into town hall and was telling the story of Civil War, American Civil War. This man broke down the cry. Why? He got to the point whereby he was analyzing how literally every 8 minutes, was it 8 minutes or 8 seconds, somebody is being shot dead during the American Civil War. And why that American Civil War is very important, very is important for us to actually know about it is because it is the first time that both sides, North and South, their military went to the same school. So all their strategy and everything they know themselves. They were taught the same way, which is West Point. But they had to split along the way and go to war with each other. So they killed themselves. So in the process of Miss, my professor, they narrate that whole thing. The man was crying. And I was like, "What the fuck? 3 days ago, you celebrate party. I would have destroy other people. This one you they cry because you like so the whole thing just doesn't make sense to me. So I have to get to work. Need coffee, coffee. This is one. Do not die. This is another book that they launched during before he enter politics proper. Do not die in their war, and he can't join the war. You no get choice. I play on one video before I go.
If you're in the
I need to go make coffee. Then when I like and share, that's all I ask for. I don't get money to give me, so like and share. What it loss of money? Sorry, I did find this is not. Does it fit? I don't even know what to make me do to me. All right, let's see. Let me do another. This one I knew an HMR resemble Boala. I want to make thing. I make me the fan video I will post it. I will dash off for 2 minutes. Blessed. Are you still there? Whoever is there, like, share, and subscribe.
There are two questions, and I have a third issue that I think, Ruben, you need to address. But let me start with the questions you have raised. I think first, the issue of INEC. I think everybody is fairly aware that INEC, as presently constituted, has lost a lot of credibility. And it is very important that the institution gains this credibility. Otherwise, the stability of the country is going to be threatened, because when we have institutions that are not delivering, and especially a key institution like INEC, and if this failure continues, then it will erode not only, confidence in INEC, but confidence in democracy itself. And when that happens, you know the consequences. So let me come back to INEC. I think there are amendments that the whole country is waiting for. For example, that amendment, which I think late President Buhari refused to give assent to, which mandates INEC to use electronic tools, to use technology in delivering the result, is still pending. But more importantly, why should the president, whoever is the president of the country, who is an interested party in the election, be the one to propose the head of INEC? I think Late Waste Committee has made very good recommendations, which have been blocked by those who are interested in manipulating INEC. I think we have to rescue INEC by making sure that the head of INEC is not appointed by a sitting president who is going to be interested in an election. So there are a number of things that needs to be done. I'm not sure there is sufficient time for us to raise that, but I think the key issues are two. One, that INEC's credibility is at stake, and two, we have got to insulate INEC from political interference. If that doesn't happen, then it is the democracy that is holding the country that's being actually run down. And when that happens, there are consequences. The second question, if I remember correctly, which you raised, is where do we go from here? I mean, considering what former President Jonathan said. And I think it ties down with the issue that I really think you should be raising, because the whole gathering in Accra is around the crisis of democracy, that democracy is not delivering the expectations of the people. And in Nigeria, if you take the statistics from 1999 to date, that's about 25 years. If you take the indices of development, whether you are taking the paternal and maternal mortality rates, or if you are taking the GDP, the growth in the economy, if you are taking all the indices of development that you take, you will see that from 1999 to date, we've been going down the drain. In fact, the GDP for this year is said to be much lower, actually about less than half of what it was in 1960. In other words, this country, under this democracy, is actually going down the drain. And it is time to really ask, of what use, of what benefit is democracy if it cannot really deliver? Is democracy made for the people, or people for democracy? If democracy is supposed to serve society, then it has failed in Nigeria. And it is time to start thinking of how do we really bring about a system that can work for us. I watched the debate from beginning to the end, and I was saddened by the fact that the elite that gathered there could not think out of the a box of Western frame of thinking. In other words, they were all, and especially the guest speaker himself, he was going round and round while admitting the failure of democracy. He was still saying that we should stick to democracy, and that doesn't make sense. I mean, you have admitted that this system has failed to deliver, and you are saying that we should still hang on to it.
Not be juju be that. All right? But again, all of them are product of USAID from Matthew Kuka. So they have no choice than to stick with the democracy. The British came and saw civilization. American come and say, we are already civilized. We just don't have democracy. The way things are going, it's like China's are coming, say, you know what? You don't need democracy, you need development. They are building you roads. They are building you roads and all that rails and stuff, right? It's all game, man. If you don't want to take care of your house, somebody will come and do it for you at your own expense. That's exactly what is going on. Let's see what balancing mercy and accountability. A closer look at Tinubu now. Fuck that. Let's see serious people. Let's see how serious is this. Leaked DS's memo on the Governor Ali Fear Amin's alleged ISWAP attack. Let's go to the real news there. That's the case and so on. DSS raises alarm over ISWAP plan to attack the fucking SS. Let's go. Let's get into it. The DSS has raised a security alert warning of imminent terrorist attack on part of Ondo and Kogi State by the Islamic State of West African Province. In a confidential memo dated October 20th, raised 2025, addressed to the brigadier. What the fuck am I reading? Okay. I must slow down. It's in a confidential memo dated October 20, 2025, addressed to the brigade commander of the 32 Artillery Brigade, Owena Cantonment, Akure. Where is Owena? Did that year? The DSS disclosed that credible intelligence confirmed that insurgents were planning a coordinated assault on targeted community. The memo signed by High Kana. High Kana, Director of Security, Ondo State Command, specifically listed Eriti Akoko and Onyi Akoko in Akoko North West Local Government. That take place close to my village. Akoko, no, it's fast. You reach to pass. Well, okay, Akoko, 2-3 hours, I think. So these are the area of potential targets. I wonder why those areas. According to the DSS, the insurgents have already commenced surveillance of soft targets in identified area. Surveillance. All right. Intelligence confirmed plans by members of ISWAP to carry out coordinated attack on communities in Ondo and Kogi State anytime soon. The level of security alertness across the identified community should be immediately scaled up to prevent loss of lives and property. The memo 1. The alert comes 3 years after the June massacre of St. Francis. Okay, it's making sense now. In our world, that's about 40 worshippers were killed by suspected ISWAP member during a morning mass that targeted remains one of the. See, when this thing happened, talking about genocide, I don't think it was framed as a Christian genocide as at that time, even though it's obvious. But it wasn't framed as a Christian genocide. Why? Why? It was gathered that a security meeting was convened on Tuesday by the Ondo State Police Commissioner Adebowale Lawal with stakeholders from the two police area command in Akoko, Ikare, and uh, Iwaro Oka to deliberate on the DSS alert and stretching preventive measure. The spokesperson, TB, then, okay, let's see, he said the Commissioner of Police on those state command, CP Adewale Lawal, on Tuesday convenes a high-power security meeting and community engagement section with the stakeholders from the two police area command in Akoko region, Ikare and Iwoko. The meeting held at the in attendance were the traditional rulers, senior police officers, leaders of the Fulani and Igbo community, representative of the National Union of Road Network Workers, Transport Workers. So I'm not mistaken, that's the full meaning of NURTW, Okada Ride Association, Farmers Association, the Nigerian Forest Security Service, Vigilance and Hunter Association, and the Police Community Relation Command, CPRC, led by the state's chairman, Ambassador Gabriel Ario. The interactive section strengthens mutual trust and understanding between the police and the community. Participants commended the command effort in maintaining peace and pledged continual support through actionable intelligence and cooperation to keep crime low across the state. Representative of the farmer also assured the command of timely and accurate information to aid its operation, while traditional ruler highlighting the importance of border community adjoining Ekiti and Kogi state in curbing cross-border threat. Leaders of the Hausa, Fulani, and Igbo community, along other sociocultural groups, lauded the CP for his fairness, inclusivity, and people-oriented policy approach. They reaffirmed their commitments to the information sharing and joint vigilance to protect lives and property. Police Commissioner Adebowale appreciated the stakeholders for their collaboration and commended the foot soldier of the two area command for their dedication and sacrifice in ensuring the safety of residents. Demonstrating his accessibility and leadership by example, the CP shared his contact number with attendee, urging them to reach out directly with credible information to support police operators. Well, let's hope the threat no work. And the fresh air. Oh, man.
I lost 110 pounds. You couldn't tell at all because of my excess skin. So Novella changed that.
Introducing the new Lifty X.
First question, talking about President Trump and the US in Africa. So Trump's tariffs have effectively dismantled AGOA, which provided duty-free access to many African countries to export to the US. Scrapped so much of the aid program, which affected Africa and the HIV programs and so forth. Do you think President Trump cares about Africa, and does it matter if he doesn't care?
Thank you. Very good afternoon to you all. I would not say that President Trump or America does not care about Africa. I would say that at the moment there is a sweeping sort of approach to tariffs, which perhaps puts certain countries in a position where they ought not to be. So in the case of Africa, so if you take Nigeria, for instance, there is interdependence, of course, but the harm comes when there is an overdependence of one party to another. In the case of Nigeria, the tariffs imposed by the U.S. Do not necessarily harm Nigeria to the extent that they may others. One, because we are a very large country, like you said in your introduction, a country of 230 million people. So we have a huge internal market, and we've got not only size, but we've got scale. So the ability to scale up allows us to be to prove ourselves, to insulate ourselves from some of the possible fallout of these tariffs. And that also means we have a larger talent pool than smaller countries. So we can absorb that, and we can, of course, trade with other countries, which is what the Tinubu administration is trying to emphasize: strategic autonomy. We have the right and the basis to engage with as many countries as possible to trade. And our relationships are not based on ideological considerations. They're based on interests, beginning with our national interests. So we trade with the US, we trade with China, we trade with Brazil, we trade with India, and our focus is not necessarily on one axis or the other, or especially in a multipolar world.
You talk about strategic autonomy, but as we know, under President Trump has a very transactional approach to doing business with people, even to diplomacy. Do you think strategic autonomy, a sort of non-aligned approach, really works? Don't you need to sort of engage directly with him? And if so, how do you think Africa and Nigeria need to engage with President Trump?
We've got critical minerals, we've got rare earths, and we're looking for partners to develop such resources and capacity. And at the same time, also, we're a gas-rich country. We have 210 trillion cubic feet of gas, not to talk of the oil. So we are a gas zone with a bit of oil in it. And we consider gas a transition fuel for not just Nigeria, but several other African countries. And what we're focusing on also is integrating our markets. First and foremost, regional economic community, which is ECOWAS, and then also the continent as a whole, the African Continental Free Trade Area. And it's important in approaching Africa for the global north and for the developed countries not to take a Minecraft approach. Sometimes, it's like the game Minecraft. There's oil, there's gas, there's, the critical minerals, rare earths, we put a bit of this, we invest this. No, that's not the way it goes. The engagement should be based on mutual respect. It should be based on shared interests and based on the fact that Africa needs to develop. If it doesn't develop, then we continue to deal with irregular migration, with all these other challenges. There's no country that is autarkic that can survive alone. So it's in the best interest of all the countries that we work together to develop together.
So before we look a bit more at the economy and economic development, I mean, the US has been putting pressure, you've talked about it yourself, for Africa to take deportees from the United States. And I think you've resisted. But Ghana, for example, has taken some, and it's actually got better visa access for its citizens to the United States. It's got sort of multi-entry visas, I think, for Nigerians. It's very difficult to get those visas. It's much shorter. Is it time for Nigeria to engage on that? Are you engaging with the United States on that? Do you feel pressure to take deportees from the US?
I think that ship has sailed. We made our point, and I believe it's been, it's not. It's no longer on the discussion table. We continue to enjoy a good relationship with the United States.
Are you overwhelmed by your payday loan debt? Have you taken out multiple loans and struggling to pay them back?
We do not see the need to take in other nationals under duress from any country because we already have a population, like I said, of 230 million people. So we're not short of people. Our focus is, as we move closer to becoming 400 million, which we will be in the next 25 years, to train our workforce, to tackle the issue of poverty, of unemployment, so that we have the right dependency ratio that will be able to sustain us as we move into the future. So there are lots of opportunities. We can partner with all comers to tackle our challenges, as well as to provide the opportunities for those that are working with us.
It's a really striking figure, and as one gets older, you realize 25 years is a much shorter time than you originally imagined. But how will you create the jobs for all these people coming into the market when you've got a nation of 400 million people? It's a huge number of jobs you have to create. It's a really vigorous economy you need to build. What steps are you going to take? What reforms are you going to take to get this country there?
So President Tinubu's priority is food security. So first and foremost, we have to be able to feed ourselves, and we will be creating lots of jobs as we work towards expanding on agriculture. So it's agriculture, it's manufacturing, expanding our manufacturing base. because I am a believer and a subscriber to import substitution. The terms of trade have to be right for the markets in Africa to integrate. And of course, with manufacturing, you have a longer or wider value chain. So packaging, not just producing the finished goods. And of course, as countries move out of poverty and become more gentrified, the demand is not on exporting raw materials and agricultural commodities. It's on finished goods. So we want to be part of that. And then, of course, infrastructure. In constructing infrastructure, you are immediately creating jobs, which would provide those linkages. So rail, gas pipelines, and broadband, and all of that. So this is what we're looking at. And we are creating also the legal and regulatory frameworks for convergence so that we integrate the markets in our region, which would unleash a lot of potential. Lastly, moving in the informal sector to the formal. That also generates a lot in terms of job creation, startups, business process outsourcing. We have Nigerian businesses in business process outsourcing that are benefiting from the tariffs because there's more outsourcing coming from the US and other parts of the developed world that are feeling the effect of the tariffs.
Where does China fit in this? You talked about infrastructure, and China has come in with both money and skill, financing for infrastructure across Africa. Is there a bigger role for China in that area of the economy? Certainly the experience with other African countries has certainly been rather mixed in taking Chinese infrastructure projects and the financing that comes with it.
As I said earlier, there's a tendency to take a Minecraft approach to Africa. It's not a game, and we are not infants. We know what is good for us, what's in our interest, so we don't need to be protected. We can protect ourselves when we're dealing with China. China's Belt and Road Initiative is good for Africa. It is something that is already benefiting countries like Nigeria, the linkages, and we are looking towards achieving similar results with Europe, with the Global Gateway Initiative, and of course other partners, the US, India, Brazil. We're doing a lot. We have a strategic partnership with Brazil as well. So, China is doing a lot, and we're partnering, and we have laws, we have regulatory frameworks in different sectors that.
You've talked about energy, and obviously energy and the huge gas resources that Nigeria has, and I think you're planning pipelines that will take the gas. They are taking it around West Africa, but the potential is to take them on even into Europe. You've also talked about the potential of attracting investors in AI, in data centers, because they absorb such a huge amount of power, and yet Nigeria can't even keep the lights on for its own citizens. How can you bring in that investment, bring in the as you said, the business, the outsourcing? How can you bring in the tech investment if you can't provide that fundamental infrastructure for businesses?
So it would serve a dual purpose. We bring in the investors, they generate what they want, and then we also generate to improve on electricity supply domestically, which is what we're doing, and we have prepared the ground. We have an Electricity Act. We're doing a lot, not just with gas, but also with renewables. We have, within the Electricity Act, it's made investing in electricity generation, transmission, distribution more attractive because it's decoupled the different aspects, and On top of that, you have new ways of attracting investors in renewables, such as feed-in tariffs and so forth. So it's something that I don't see any conflict in that, because we have a gas pipeline that Ghana, for instance, via Republic of Benin and Togo. So that is being used also for electricity in the region. But we're currently also building another gas pipeline, the Ajakuta Abuja Kaduna Kano gas pipeline that runs across Nigeria, which would also solve the problem of the feedstock for generating electricity.
President Tinubu has implemented two very significant reforms. One was floating the Naira. There's still a parallel market, but it's really eased up the whole complex Forex situation in Nigeria. He's also removed fuel subsidies, two of the really big moves. What's the next big reform that's coming down that's going to start creating that environment that's going to attract more investors?
There are several. The taxes, there's a huge reform that has just taken place with our tax laws. They have been consolidated. They've been made easier. So the tax code is more understandable to investors, and it brings down the rates as well in terms of investors and
If you're a U.S. veteran and have 0 DUIs in the last 5 years, listen carefully. I was an insurance agent for 30 years, and what I'm about to tell you could save you up to 80%.
How much taxes they have to pay, both locally in the states, because we have 36 states that they would be investing in, as well as the federal taxes. So that is really huge, and it's just a matter of the private sector comprehending the opportunities therein and taking advantage of them.
As we near the end, there's an interesting question here, because it does get directly to the issue of foreign investors. What steps, what assurances can the government give that foreign investors can repatriate their capital? We know that has been an issue, indeed, for Gulf investors here, for Gulf airlines. Emirates and Etihad had a problem a couple of years ago. So what assurances can you give that there won't be a problem for foreign investors to repatriate their capital?
Well, you can see it happening, because part of the problem was availability of foreign exchange. And you can see that the foreign exchange is now available, the exchange rate has stabilized, and even Nigerians are having access to foreign exchange, to dollars. You can actually deposit dollars in your DOM account and travel and use your credit card and spend dollars. So that is something that we should watch to see, which is indicative of the availability. But one of our major challenges at the moment is the false narratives that are being created about Nigeria. This issue of religious persecution, Christians are being persecuted, which couldn't be further from the truth, and it's something that I think the investors need to come and see for themselves. And we have businesses that have been in Nigeria for decades. They've not left. And if indeed there was religious persecution or any other form of persecution, then they wouldn't be there.
Well, thank you very much, Minister. Reuters is all about making sure we tell the right narrative, so let's hope that narrative gets out there. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Foreign Minister Edmund, thank you very much indeed. Don't take a
Looking for an easier way to get that LLC
Monetary Fund has revised Nigeria's 2025 growth forecast upward to 3.5%, citing stronger oil production, the coming on stream of the Dangote refinery, and the resilient services sector. However, the IMF warns that per capita growth remains weak, inflation is still elevated, and the external environment remains uncertain. The fund has praised recent policy efforts to unify the exchange rate and phase out fuel subsidies, but urged the Nigerian government to improve revenue collection, strengthen public finances, and expand social safety nets to cushion vulnerable households. It also advised continued reforms in energy, trade, and governance to unlock key investment drive and sustainable inclusive growth.
Well, for more on this and the government's economic strides, we're joined live in the studio by Mr. Tuggar Fashua, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Economic Matters. Thank you for joining us live on Arise News.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fashua, Special Advisor to the President.
Oh, okay. Point noted. Now, to the big issue, the nation's economy. The welfare and the fate of Nigerians on the street. The IMF has reeled out its forecast on Nigeria, but the rhetoric still seems to dwell more on stability rather than substantive growth in the nation's economic sector. What do you make of this indices?
Yeah, thank you very much, and thanks for the invite. So essentially, it takes a lot for organizations like the IMF, World Bank, and a few of the other international institutions to revise growth upwards because they're very conservative in terms of their projection. We who are here on this other side are the ones that know what we're thinking about and what our hopes and dreams and efforts are. So usually we'll be slightly more aggressive in terms of our projections. For the IMF to have moved from 3% to 3.4%, and I also saw 3.9% by the end of 2025 for Nigeria. But mind you, Mr. President has not been in office for 3 years yet. It's going to be 3 years next June. We were still in October, so it's not even 30 months yet. And we've been able to achieve stability thus far. Remember also that when Mr. President came in, we were coming from a negative position. We were still even suffering from some of the faults of COVID-19, which happened in 2020, locked down the whole of 2020, almost the whole of 2021, even parts of 2022. It must be said, it was a tough time for every country in the world. It was a global recession. Our countries had to borrow a lot of money just to survive. A lot of countries even went into what's called ways and means and printing to spend. Many foreign countries that we look up to, UK, the whole of Europe, US, they were sending money to people by mail. For people to just survive. Anyhow, so Mr. President came in at that point in time and had to take some very serious decisions in terms of the reforms. And I think he has, we are beginning to see that stability. Now you're asking for growth. So you have to be methodical and things have to go one after the other. It's just like having a baby today and expecting that child to get a job in 2 years' time or in 1 year time. You have to allow the baby to grow, to stabilize, and then you begin to look for those ambitions. So I'm saying that it's too early, indeed, whereas it's rather early for us to be asking for where's the growth? Where is the growth when we're talking about stabilization? However, what we're seeing also is that we're already seeing the growth and we're already seeing the gains of the reforms. 4.23% last quarter growth with a view to taking it to about 5% before the end of the year. We're outstripping all of the projections of the IMF and the World Bank. And in fact, the truth is, a Nigerian story must be told. We sometimes get too cynical about who we are and what we can do for ourselves.
Okay, now let's look at it now. And the World Bank made its projections and also the IMF, and both of them are quite similar in its narrative. When we look at the narrative of policy to people, from policy paper to the public plate, hunger, they say, don't lie. With 139 million Nigerians still living below poverty line, with 55% of Nigerians unemployed and 33% of Nigerian youth still under unemployment. What do you make of this situation? Because you talked about stability. We can't wait for too long. This mid-term, beyond mid-term into President Tinubu's administration. What do you make of this situation? Because it's something that is quite yearning for a desperate intervention from government.
Indeed, you know, but we're not mid-term yet. I would say, well, we hope that Mr. President is going to be here for 8 years. We're not even 4 years yet. And to a very large extent, you know, like I said, perhaps it's the first time the IMF World Bank that you mentioned, they themselves understand the enormity of the kind of reforms we did. It was a double whammy. You know, doing the petroleum reforms and the FX reforms at the same time, we're able to kill those two demons at the same time. It's not most leaders will shy away, but we've taken that that step. Though you're quoting 55%, I don't know where you got 55% unemployment. The last time I checked was 5% or thereabouts. You know, I mean, you can quarrel with the MBS figures, but that's what it is. 139 million people on below poverty line. I also have a problem with that number. I think that there's a need. I've been calling for you know, another multidimensional poverty report to be done. I think it's in process. That will take into cognizance some of the infrastructure that's been put together, because multidimensional poverty is a function of infrastructure to a very large extent. You know, however, you know, again, mind you, a lot of people have repositioned in the economy. Some sectors are doing better than they used to do. For example, the petroleum sector, real estate sector, export sector, whether it was commodity, even the manufacturing sector. The manufacturing sector exports went up 67% year on year. And of course it went up 163% month as at September. Now the thing is this. Now the truth is, unfortunately or fortunately, we live in a world that actually takes no prisoners, and Nigeria is part of the global community. Nigeria does not. Nigeria is self. Let me land on. No,
we need to set the record.
You're going to do that. You're going to do that. Let me land on this. You know, you're kind of cutting my thought process. So essentially speaking, you would do that actually. You know, to say Nigeria is part of a global economic system, and essentially Nigeria is not getting anything for doing nothing. Nigeria will get.
If you live in a Texas zip code and have 0 DUIs in the last 5 years, listen carefully. I was an insurance agent for 30 years, and what I'm about to tell you could
paid for what it exports, whether it was commodities or manufactured products or anything, or services that it produces. Equally for individuals within Nigeria, note that most people will not get something for nothing. So it depends on how you add to the process of creating the GDP of Nigeria, how much income you earn, how you position yourself. That's what we determine. So we can talk about people getting hungry, but of course some people have also repositioned, and we're encouraging more people to reposition, to look at the economy afresh and take advantage of the opportunities you know, created.
Dr. Fashua, you have packed a lot into that narrative. You talked about, you're very emphatic about the president spending 8 years, although constitutionally he spends 4 years and then he has to go for elections. And then you disputed the level of poverty in the country. You also talked about only 5% unemployment rate in the country. That's according to the MBS. You said, although we know that it's more than 5%. But let me land. Can I land with the question? Let me land with the question. However, let's also come to spending concerns, which is part of what was in that report. Can you also share with us or talk to us about areas and sectors where you are showing fiscal responsibility and controlling how the government and public officers are spending? Because we've known that there is a record of reckless spending.
Well, maybe you're talking about maybe the Oxfam report, or, you know, and of course, Oxfam is not our own bureau for statistics. Oxfam is probably working in their own plane and all of that. And the new system of calculating statistics, as understood by the MBS is what we are looking we're looking at, rather than maybe a sensational report coming from an NGO sometimes that has their own agenda or what have you. So that's that. You know, so we're working with the numbers that we have. You're asking me about government spending. My own thinking is that, well, since I've been in government over 2 years now, I've not seen that reckless spending that you speak about. But of course, Mr. President is also, and the entire government is also all about reducing all those kind of reckless spending wherever they can be found. I personally, in my own little office, I don't see that kind of spending. I mean, we run governments with the minimum level of costs. And that's what it is, you know. So
can you give us class examples?
Oh, classical example. Yeah. I drove myself here in my own car. I don't have an official car. I'm a special advisor to the president, so you can take that to the bank. And if I mean, I know my job that I'm doing is a sacrifice, because I know where I'm coming from. I had my companies, you know, before I came into government. So starting from my own perch, my own seat, I see that cost saving.
Special advisors.
As a matter of yes, tell me about it.
Special advisors, we don't know that special advisors are given official cars. However,
I don't understand. What did you say?
You said you are a special advisor to the president.
Yeah.
You said you drove yourself.
Yeah, my own car.
That's normal. You know,
it's normal.
Yeah, it's very, very normal. We're talking about public officials, whether elected, most of them elected, the kind of spending that goes on in government. Not you. You're a special advisor. Why should you have a government car?
I will tell you what I know. I will tell you what I know. A special advisor is just below minister level, right? You understand? So it's not someone that just walks into government and, you know, but I'm just telling you what I know. And I'm saying that to a large extent,
the guy is arrogant because he knows the people he is talking to. He knows that the people he is talking to, they are government puppets. They are all on government payroll. So, no be them. Have you forgotten him too now? He was an analyst at a point before they give him that. So, he's blessed. That's why the guy did rude. I'm not condoning it, but now where you find yourself is speaking to his mind, his like kind. These are friends, so to speak. I think that's why he's speaking like that. I could be wrong. Blessed, but I think because if you look at the tone of the studio anchors, it kind of tally with how the guy is responding. Abi?
The cost saving is already in effect, and we're not.
She used to be my favorite analyst, though, political analyst. This what's that name say? I love the way she talk about this until they can't give her a job. As they give her a job like this, voila, you know, she has
spenders in this government. But you may have examples. If you have examples, let me know. But it's not enough to just allege, because anybody can get sensational. And even this new idea of, you know, we talk about poverty, I'm beginning to liken it to that South African photographer who took a picture of that child in Somalia who was about to be eaten by the vulture for the clicks. So the man had to commit suicide because you could have saved the child, but you wanted the sensation. So when we push this idea, oh, everybody is hungry. I mean, three of us are sitting down here. We don't look hungry.
What's going on? You see, the guy can't fight here. What's going on?
Government spends on its budget. Still, up to now, more than 60% of the government money goes into recurrent expenditure. And that is what is expected to be brought down. It's not only about the amount of cars that appointed officials ride or how much those cars cost and maintenance that goes into it. We're also talking about, it is very, very necessary. You are an economist and know that if you are spending at least 70% or more than 60% of your budget on recurrent expenditure, it leaves you
but it's not just speaking to the anchor,
to
it's also
invest
speaking to
in the areas
I
that
agree with
actually
you. I
would
think that's
drive
very
your
Yeah, well, that's a bit, it's actually a bit deceptive, I'll let you know, because for one, you need to go and look at what items of expenditure make it into capital, what items make it into recurrent. If you tell me that patching a road,
you should understand that we, the educated folks, are very rude in the name of speaking English, especially when they are getting into our skin. So that's what you see playing out. These people are not serving us. They are not serving the people. So they're serving their egos and their pocket. Imagine a special advisor, they say in driving same comes to you, that it should be put into consideration that the government is like, So these are friends, and but I totally agree with you. They don't say they seems to be carried away that they are not talking to themselves alone. They are actually meant to be educating and informing the people. Well, as in Nigeria we are today, the government is arrogant at this point, especially if you remember, if you follow the beginning of the conversation, he came to praise IMF, right? So IMF for them to be giving all this, even though it's trying to be yiddy about it, but so it came pompous already. We are doing, the government is doing well, everybody is happy, Why should you be questioning me as if Nigeria is that's the attitude I'm taking that is being displayed here, Blessed, which is what you clearly articulated as being rude. I agree. Yeah, educated people are very rude. You should know, we speak, we they talk as if we know what we talk about. That's why they go about Abati will stand for national TV, say a whole governor knows how to speak English, as if that should be an achievement. But this is where we are now.
Is a recurrent expenditure, I will go for that recurrent expenditure any day, because we need to get that maintenance culture. Is what I've always talked about and what I've always preached and written about. If you check my previous writings, you see that I've even made a case. This dichotomy of capital recurrent could be very deceptive. If we need to have a maintenance culture, perhaps we need to demystify the issue of recurrent versus capital. Again, number two, Nigeria has one of the lowest per capita budgets in the world. We're not budgeting enough. Everybody knows that. Our budget is about $150 or even less per person per year, which is spread in education, agriculture, infrastructure, and what have you. We can do a whole lot better in that area. So, I would say, number one, let's not demonize that recurrent. Let's look at the nitty-gritty. Sometimes I've also seen scenarios where you're buying laptops and you put it in capital. Is it really, maybe things that will last maybe 1 year, you share it and all of that, but I think that we need to demystify that, number one. So in terms of the percentage number is always very deceptive. We can do better. Secondly, we need to budget a lot better for ourselves, in order to, in terms of the size of the budget itself, whether at the state level or at the federal government level.
You'll permit me to come in here. Let's still look at some other salient recommendations and also reports from the IMF, which you just returned from.
Hey, Tone, why should people come to the AI Advantage Summit November 6th, 7th, and 8th?
It's a good ad, isn't it? Pretty simple. I'll tell you what it really is.
It seems the writing on the wall indicates a strong show of revenue, the country riding on a revenue crisis precipice. Because when you look at the debt to GDP ratio, the debt to GDP ratio, which is about 52%, you would agree with me that we've exceeded that recommended threshold for a safe debt borrowing. And also, we also look at the debt to revenue ratio, which is 75%, which indicates a lot of stress on Nigeria's fiscal reform. now the IMF also said that there's so much illicit financial flow coming from stolen funds, stolen public funds, proceeds from criminal activities, and also on traceable digital activities, transactions. So what do you make of this alarm coming from the IMF on the revenue situation in the country?
Well, Nigeria has always had a revenue problem, which is being solved. We have a new tax regime kicking in January. And the same, I mean, of course, it's always a burden to be to serve in government, to be in leadership. On one hand, people are saying, "Oh, why you want to increase taxes on people?" Which is actually not a fact. We're reducing taxes for most people, but trying to ensure that people who actually earn money actually pay something back to the government. Nigeria is one country where people want to ride for free. You know. They say, oh, well, we have oil, so we should all be enjoying. There's no country where everybody enjoys in the world anyway. But I have an issue with your numbers. Debt to GDP ratio, even by IMF numbers, is 39.4%. Has crashed, you know, to by other numbers, it's about 38.8%, which is below the threshold of 60% set by the Fiscal Responsibility Act, which is below the 70% approved by the World Bank itself and ECOWAS region. So in terms of debt to GDP ratio, we're sitting pretty. In fact, you look at that balance sheet, the national balance sheet, and you say, look, this country can leverage a lot more. What are you doing with 39%, which is one of the lowest even in Africa? If you take some of our comparator countries in Africa, talk about Egypt, talk about Ghana, talk about Kenya, talk about South Africa, the minimum you see is 70% to 80%. Okay. And debt service to revenue ratio has also crashed to 50%. Okay. You know, it used to be, as of 2022, it was 120% in December 2022. So we're doing a lot, but in terms of fiscal management, I think I'll score the government and so things are looking a lot better.
So finally, and you have to be quick on this one.
Listen to this.
Sucking the blood of the sufferer.
Who's trying to join the...
All right. Good morning, guys.
Could you use up to $800? Find it at BioLife. Up to $800 is waiting for you. Just
I summoned exactly a week ago, and it came to me that what I need to be speaking about this week is the subject. It is time. But what do I mean? What do I mean by it is time? Somebody even asked me during the course of the week, once the subject was communicated, somebody went on there and said, it is time for what? It is time to do what? So what I want to do is, first thing first, I would like to discuss the subject of time, the concept of time within the context of my meaning, so that we would have clarity as to exactly where I'm going with this. Time, in the mindset of the Yoruba or in Yoruba cosmology or in our philosophy, which shapes my own worldview, consists of a continuum: the past, the present, and then the future. But within the context of my usage this morning, I'm speaking about the time to do something. You know, there is time and there is season. Yorubas will say, Igba ati asiko. Igba refers to season. Asiko refers to the hour. In saying that it is time, I am actually talking about the hour. Yeah, the hour, a moment in time. That is what I'm speaking to this morning. So that we'll be able to place these in context. I'm going to ramble a bit, so you're going to have to follow and be a little patient with me. I must speak to the protest called for tomorrow because it dovetails into the subject that I want to discuss.
You no come out for the protest.
Yesterday, why? Facebook brought a memory that is 5 years old.
Somebody should explain.
Exactly 5 years ago, just a couple of days before the massacre that took place at Lekki Tollgate. I made a post where I was asking the Nigerian army if it was going to find the capacity to kill us meaning the protesters. Even though I never joined the protest, I went there 2 or 3 times, essentially as an observer. But I could sense what the
You are supposed
Nigerian
to be a
state was
speaker.
planning. I knew
And
the Nigerian
see, now
state
my
had to
problem
do
with
something
all this,
because it could not
all this
afford.
wannabe, all this emerging elite, these people who want power, because this is what it's about. Clarity means not be anything else. He just wants his voice to be heard, and he wants to contribute. If you want me to put it the way he will put it, he just want power, but they are lazy. That is what Talab regard as intellectual yet idiots. They are lazy. See, you protest, they go on, you just go there to observe. And I said it here, was it yesterday or 2 days ago, that if these Showore people, this is their class, I think that's the next thing I will talk about, the class of wannabe, want to take over power. They are lazy. When you are organizing a protest, you spread it. This man dey Lagos, why he no go where protest, make him speak? That's what it's about. Engage the people, speak to the, don't just go and observe and go back. The protest must not be assembled, protester must not be at Lekki Tollgate or Alausa. It could be anywhere. In today's world that is powered by information, anywhere you speak from, people will know, people will hear it. So that's why I call them lazy. All these ones, lazy intellectuals. They just day one place, they speak grammar, they talk. Go into the war zone and practicalize your theory. Can you say you just go observe?
To let SARS end. It could not end SARS. SARS is the instrument of the impunity by which the state enforces its impunity. So it was impossible for the Nigerian state to let SARS end, because ending SARS would mean ending impunity, which the protesters cottoned on to after a point. It started with end SARS, it became end impunity, it became end bad governance, it became end corruption, it became end every bad thing in Nigeria. Those protesting began to make the connection between the system and the SARS that was set up to protect
That
the
was the
system.
plan of the
And how does
organizers
this
from the
dovetail
one.
into tomorrow's
They
protest?
tell us
A few people have asked me, what is my position regarding tomorrow's protest, as called by Yele and the Revolution Now movement? I am in support of everything the oppressed do to fight the oppressor. I cannot speak against the right of citizens in a democracy to protest against an obvious injustice. And if we're speaking of injustices, the incarceration of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is patently unjust. Within the context of today's realities in Nigeria, with terrorists who have blood on their hands, being mollycoddled by the state, feted, able to address press conferences, it becomes unconscionable to continue to justify the incarceration of a man who has expressed the genuine grievances of a people, however much one might disagree with his methodologies. It does not rise to the level of the brazen criminals that the state has been very happy to embrace. And I'm not just talking about the ones that you see in the forests and in Katsina. What about the ones that they call Agbero, that are routinely protected by policemen who stand aside while these Agberos are busy threatening citizens in a supposed democracy? So I'm saying this so that you begin to understand that the Nigerian state, as it is currently, as it stands today, as it has always been, has an affinity for terrorists, but I've always hated those who say they are fighting for rights. How does this dovetail? I'll come to it.
Would you be happy if you stayed where you are in life and job forever? If the answer is yes, then this video is not for you.
It is the inalienable right of human beings to protest. You can't beat a child and claim that he shouldn't cry. So, insofar as it relates to the right of a man to
All these people, all these people, I don't know why people even listen to them again. Maybe not because people know they read. Not just there is they spend so much talking about the protest. That's not the point. The protest already been stated. But what needs to be done? That's what you should be analyzing. I mean, all this way they talk, so just they use grammar, they just muddy the water. They're not saying anything.
Protest against injustice. I applaud Yeli
You're not
and
saying
everybody who will be
anything, bro.
going out tomorrow, and I urge all of you, keep your head. You're not dealing with a state that has any respect for your rights. Now, if I say it is time and I'm not going to join tomorrow's protest, not because I don't believe that there is a right to protest, but because I don't believe it is the solution. I have never joined any protest. And that is because I don't believe that the Nigerian state is capable of hearing. So if you're calling me to come to a barricade with the intention of ensuring that the Nigerian state cannot move forward until it addresses the issue, if you're saying that we're going to shut down the entire system, go ahead and convince our people that it is in our interest to sit back, not because of one issue, not to end SARS, not to free Nnamdi Kanu, but to change this evil system that has suppressed all of us for a long time.
That's it.
Now,
They know what these people
there are multiple issues,
That's my own.
and they must be separated and clearly explained.
They know what to do.
Another, you saw Reno and his denunciation by his erstwhile associate. And then the subject of American intervention in Nigeria and all the shenanigans began. Let me quickly, I've told you, it's going to be a long day. We have a lot to unpack, and they have to be unpacked so that we will correctly treat the issues. Is there genocide going on in Nigeria? Yes, there is. I don't need any American to tell me. We've been saying this for years, that the Nigerian state is complicit in the murder of its citizens, and that the Nigerian state is the one sponsoring the insurgency in his own territory for political reasons, for ethnic hegemonist reasons. We've been saying this for years. I do not require Renos American to tell me, and I do not require American help to solve our problem. It is up to me and you. America can only amplify our voices. If we're fighting and they join us by proclaiming the truth, that's fine. But let me be clear with you. America brought the APC.
Right.
It was complicit in its creation.
Yes.
It was complicit in its empowerment, and it cannot turn around and offer itself as the solution to the problem that it has created.
Good.
Even if it will help us, let us be clear in understanding that we are the ones who have the problem. And that dovetails into one more thing. The military coup that they have been talking about. If the Nigerian military is indeed plotting a coup, I need all of us to understand that it is not in our interest. Right. Whatever coup is being planned is not being planned to make me and you citizens. It will be a function of an internal crisis within the Nigerian power dynamics. It is me and you, all of us, the victims of Nigeria, who need to understand that those benefiting from Nigeria are not divided unless they are squabbling over the sharing. That is the only time you hear about them. So if there is any rumbling in the military, be careful not to pick side because it's the same side. We are the ones who end up becoming the victims of whatever they are plotting. It is time, yes, but it is time for a people-led change.
Okay.
A people-driven change.
So now you understand that going with Obi-driven change is a mistake. My sister go say, "Oh, veve." See, when they talk, see, all these guys are mobilizers. And there's a great difference between mobilizing and organizing. No politician goes in when you organize. It doesn't serve politician interest to say let's organize. If politician will join you along the way when he see that is going to benefit him, just like the likes of OT and the rest that went into National Assembly, join the obedient movement along the way. That's why when somebody asks me, is OT leaving Labour Party going to? It's not a blow on Obi's. No. Obi did not come to be, or obedience did not come to be because of others. It is the other way around. So he's not taking anything away from it. If he has anything at all, he stands a chance to lose. But we all know how it works.
A change defined by me and you clearly understand.
Because the only way me and you can define a change is when we are working together in an organized form. We begin to debate internally. We already know where we are going. We have one goal, is to change our situation. We know that. But how do we achieve that successfully is what we are debating internally, not externally. So regardless of what you believe right now, you will get to come together and work it out inside and go. That's what organizing is all about. So all these things that they do is not mobilizing. I'm glad that because this is his state of mind before he joined the obedient. That's why I love this motherfucker. I love this guy because I read Would Not Die in Their War. I saw his proposed constitution and all that. It was fucking, a pathway. You know if you disagree, but it's a pathway, proposed a pathway. But by the time he begins to go all out, partisan, that's like hell, fuck. We don't lose one again. It's gone. It's gone. That's what I said. It's gone. I said, this guy is over. But I'm glad, once in a while, they come back to that senses. Because this is not about a political office. The Nigerian oppressed don't give a fuck about political office. The structure, the system has to be altered. Bigly, according to Trump, it has to be altered. And to do that, we need no politician. We don't need no athlete. We don't need no musician. We don't need no actor, actress, all these. Fuck these motherfuckers. We need the people who only within the end and go or come. That's it. Enlighten them, educate them, give them that support that they need. Meet them halfway, and you see how they will take on the whole system. Everybody will run. These men will run now. Where did they get? They move. So when they mobilize under one person, say the person will change the world, change Nigeria. That's where I begin to question their intelligence. Because in history, there's nowhere in history that one person changed any situation. It's not Jesus Christ, it's not Gandhi, it's not nobody. But the system zoom in or narrow in on one person for a reason. For a reason. And the reason is obvious. That's why when they run after one person, now only one person, one person not will change anything. It has to come to the collective note of the people who are feeling what it means to be in that particular situation. Then along those people, they will select one person just to be a spokesperson. That's what Martin Luther King is all about. Just be a spokesperson for the movement. I'm not denying that he was not part and parcel of the movement, but he's just like every other person in the movement. Muhammad Gandhi had to go back to a village and become a teacher. Literally, Gandhi had to move back to the rural community and become a teacher. Begin to teach how to get out of this situation, not by him, but by everybody. So when these people run around and begin to say, one person is out, say, oh, y'all motherfuckers, man. They don't understand the system you're fighting against. Power no dey Aso Rock, power no dey Bola Tinubu hand. Now just small part of the power they hand. Every other one has been spread around. That's how today the modern power war. It not be like monarchy where everything you have to. Once you invade the palace, you pretty much take over the whole country. Just like in France, French Revolution. Once they get access to the palace, it was all over. But it doesn't matter if you go clear as rock. You go surprise the military they operate with another person command from somewhere. They see the whole system is so well organized that it doesn't matter how educated you are, you cannot bring that change. You can only spread what you know among other people. Now you have a chance. This is what he's now realizing. And again, I will question him because he'll be obedient. So how am I sure this is not part of the obedience move? I'm not saying obedient move anything against obedient, but obedient want Obi to be president. And nothing wrong with that. It's just that I can't fall for that shit. Can't fall for that.
Understanding the dynamics of the geopolitics that has brought us to this moment. We can't keep waiting forever. The time is now, but we have to understand very clearly. The way the world is, you are either going to be praised, to be fed on, to be preyed on, or you are going to have to be the predator. If you are not going to be a predator and you don't want to be the prey, you better make yourself impervious to their attacks. Because I tell you this, and let me be very clear, you don't want to become the pawn in anybody's game. Americans do not care how many of us die. They don't want an all-out refugee crisis, but they are fine with us having just enough stability to continue extracting our minerals. That is what is happening.
That's what it is.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform. Describe what you want, and watch it take shape. You can plan, customize, and expand in any direction. From tools built for one to platforms ready for many. From passion projects to enterprise-grade systems. Everything is built in and ready to launch. It's a new world of creation, where you can go as far as your imagination takes you. Can you imagine it? Let's make your dream a reality right now.
What the heck?
Staying late again? Yep, got prospect calls to summarize. You really need to switch.
I need to change my. I don't want to sign.
Nigeria, but they are extracting minerals. Schools can't open, but they're extracting minerals. Chinese, Indians, they're all over Zamfara and most part of the northeast and northwest. And you'll find them in every one of the conflict zones have foreigners there. And you don't seem to understand that all that is happening is that they are redistributing land in order to extract value. I am saying all of this so that you would understand that there is an urgency to the need for us as a collective to begin to organize ourselves. What is it that suddenly awakened the Americans to the genocide in Nigeria? Were they unaware of this genocide when they were refusing Ebele Jonathan the right to buy arms? Guys, it is time to wake up to the reality that if we don't save our country, evil as it is admittedly, if we, the victims of Nigeria, do not find the time quickly to save it, it will collapse. But it will collapse only to the point where they will have enough time and impunity to do as they please, and the world will care nothing for what happens to me and you. They don't care. We are the ones who need to lend ourselves some brain. When I was speaking to my Yoruba brethren, there was a proverb that I shared with them. Wọ́n ní tá bá ní ẹgbẹ́ alágídí nílé, agídí là ní. If you not get crazy man inside your house, you better be crazy yourself. We have come to the point where we must understand that we are the ones who have to be deliberately insane if we must save ourselves from the catastrophe that is coming and that has been designed for us. Campbell told all of us that Nigeria was going to collapse in 2016. It didn't. They were the ones who brought the trouble in 2015. Jonathan was not meant to let go of power. If he hadn't let go of power, the problem, as the crisis as predicted, would have happened in 2016. But he let go of power. They created the crystallizing event, Buhari's ascent to power. And then now, so let me be very clear. If anything is going to happen to change our status quo as designed, it will be because we recognize that it is time to organize. Now, let me remind you. In the essay that I titled my first book, which was released February, I think it was the 7th of February, 2015, just before Buhari came to power. I titled it, Do Not Die in Their War. And what I was pointing out is what has come to pass today. Do not die in their war. I characterized it as their war. That was the point where the syncretism that has overtaken the political class today has come to take place. That was the point when they started cooperating with one another to become one family. That their war is over. A few losers are there. Those are the ones you see trying to find one. They have become amajiris because they could not find home within their own home anymore. They would have two choices. Either they are going to align with the people to chase their kind, or they are going to stay in the neverland of they are never dead and they are not truly awake. Point I am making is this. The victims are the ones who are going to have to unite. Every time you seek to protest, if they don't send the thugs, they will send the police. When the police can't do, they will send the soldiers. All this is happening because there is a schism between those who enforce the impunity of the system and those who are the victims of the system. I'm saying to us, let us unite, organize, understand that what we need to do is not, we don't need protest. We need clear-headed revolution. Now, let me explain. I'm not saying those who want to protest should not protest. I have never ever spoken against any protest. It is the right of anybody who has been wronged to protest. But I must also point out that I don't believe that our circumstances will be changed by protests. If we are resolved that there is a need for this country to change, we should set out the change we expect to see and then call the people behind that change. I was to have a guest this morning. His name is Kunle Lawal. I'm sure some of you will know him, Electoral College. The purpose of bringing him on the program this morning will be to talk about organizing ourselves nationwide. Kunle is more attuned with political organization.
What is that?
But unfortunately, we have some technical issues and he was unable to join the broadcast. But I'll be bringing him tomorrow evening by 8.
Why are women everywhere choosing Abby X?
That change. I was to have a guest this morning. His name is Kunle Lawal. I'm sure some of you will know him, Electoral College. The purpose of bringing him on the program this morning will be to talk about organizing ourselves nationwide. Kunle is more attuned with political organization. But unfortunately, we have some technical issues and he was unable to join the broadcast. But I'll be bringing him tomorrow evening by 8 p.m. When I say it is time, I'm saying it is time to organize to end this madness. To do so in a non-violent fashion. To do so setting out clearly a way for all of us to come together, because without organizing, we'll become a mob. A mob is easily defeated. But if we organized ourselves across the 774 local governments of Nigeria, and Nigerian victims are to be found everywhere in Nigeria, it's not just in Lagos, we are everywhere in Nigeria. The biggest problem we've had is an inability to synergize and to organize ourselves. Kunle Lawal has the capacity, which I don't have, to organize us. There are other persons who I'm working with, but I'm bringing Kunle to talk to you because he will be able to explain. We'll be using WhatsApp platforms. It's that basic, but we need to organize ourselves. So you please join me tomorrow, 8 p.m. without the link and the notification. But the critical thing that we all need to understand and understand quickly is that it is way past the time when we can continue to analyze, agonize without organizing. We need to organize. It's not about episodic protests where we come out, we no agree this one, we no agree that one. There is nothing about Nigeria to agree. But if we do not organize ourselves, we would only continue to lament and lament until we would eventually find that we've aged. See me, gray hair everywhere. These were not disapparent just a couple of years ago. It is time to organize. It's beyond agonizing. Whilst we wait for Kunle or some other persons who will come speak with us about how to organize ourselves into different cells, I am begging all of you, the little you can in your own little corner, begin to organize yourselves. Don't let us wait until things implode before we start running helter-skelter looking for solution. Let me remind us, when NSAS started, it started with only a single request: end SARS. But the system is incapable of ending SARS without coming down itself. I am saying to you that if you go about the business of focusing on episodic protests, this system will become even more entrenched. What we need to do is find the common purposes, and we have enough. There is nothing that hails one today that does not hail all. Everything that hails the Hausa man hails the Igbo man, he hails the Yoruba man, hails the Ijaw man. The only thing that unites Nigerians are our sufferings. And surely it shouldn't be too difficult for us to find common purpose in the midst of what has happened to all of us. So I'm saying to us, it is time to organize. It is time to organize. It is time to begin to look beyond all the things that have divided us. Because if you do not organize, if we continue agonizing, this system will collapse and we will be the collateral damage. America cares nothing about me and you. Neither do the religious rulers of this country. The politicians care nothing. If we are going to survive the implosion that is almost certain to come, it will be because we found common purpose. In the absence of common purpose, I need us to remember we are lacking in national institutions that can preserve this country by the time the coming implosions come. It is only the victims uniting that can hold this country together to preserve it for our children and for posterity. If not, look around you. I don't care what ethnicity you belong to or what religion. Be sufficiently honest enough to look at Nigeria and look honestly and then tell me that you see a viable future if we continue traveling our current trajectory. This is not about making people scared. It's not about spreading paranoia. It's about carefully analyzing our objective realities. You have a state that has no problem with funding terrorism against its people, Commodore Lawley told us. Melafia told us.
The problem veterans in the U.S. have who want a career in IT or tech is that they're not aware of this huge advantage.
Baraje told us. There are enough reasons to be alarmed about where we are and where we appear to be heading. But all this pales into insignificance if we found the grace to organize ourselves. There is a lot to say,
Of the guy that he's talking about.
a whole lot. But the one that I need you to hold and remember is that it is time to organize. It is time. It is time to organize. In a failure to organize, unite ourselves and be prepared, Nigeria will be child's play compared to Somalia and some other places where human life has been discounted. I cannot go this week without reminding you to lend your support to the fantastic job that Peter Aka is doing. I'm not going to talk about 2027 because I'm not even sure if there will be a 2027.
No, don't start. No, don't start.
But I must talk to you about supporting
No,
Aka.
don't start. Nothing will not talk. Listen to 2023. And my response will always be, the election will not just end, it will be peaceful. Yeah. This is my problem with all these people. It doesn't matter what you do. There will be election come 2027. I don't understand why up till now we just even war start. We keep deceiving ourselves. That's why I don't know, man. These people, they just at every junction, just
so that we are prepared in the event that we manage to stave off the evil day and we do have a voice by that time. But over and above everything, organize and do so beyond the partisan blinkers. I'll see you tomorrow, everybody. For as many of you as are able to join us, we'll put out the notification before the day is out. I'll be with Kunle Lawal tomorrow for 8 p.m. Join us. We'll be speaking specifically to only one subject, organizing ourselves in cells across the country to prepare for what is definitely coming.
I need to scrutinize this.
Ogun Awitele Okin Paro.
I've heard that name before.
The war that was foreannounced does not kill the cripple if he listens. I've said my own as best as I can. I hope I'll see you tomorrow. Let's talk then. But more important, let's begin to organize. For those of you who are going to go out to protest tomorrow, it's your inalienable right, and I support your right to do so. And yes, it's a worthy cause. But as you do so,
This Ogawe in the talk, Kunle Ajayi, you know who the heck is it? All these people, I know they trust them. They are all USAID products. These are all USAID products. Let me see. I hope I'm wrong. Join our mission for political literacy in Nigeria. Okay. Not a bad idea. But where are you coming from? Who is sponsoring this let's say That's what I'm about. That's what I'm about. Who is sponsoring? Because that's where the ideology of who is financing them will take precedence when they begin to teach people how to the electoral process. See, at the Electoral College Nigeria, our mission is to create a Nigeria where every citizen understands and participates in the governance, ensuring accountability, equity, and justice in democracy. Our mission is to elevate democratic engagement through comprehensive political literacy, equip Nigerians to make informed decisions, and inspire governance reform. Ah, I don't like all this shit. What what we do, we are committed to bridging the gap between political patriotism and development. Politics, patriotism, and development. We work to grow and improve Nigeria by providing a welcoming environment, giving young Nigerians the tools they need to become informed, engaged citizens who can influence the country. Teaching political literacy, OT electoral debate, containing situation room, and media rounds. These people, free, free, free. Ain't nothing like free, man. That's why I suspect them. Ain't nothing free. Okay. See, all these free things. I don't like free things. When you begin tell saying are free, and I begin to suspect you. Let me see. What do you mean by cohorts? 15 cohorts. What's that? So this then the class become a polytrate fair form. No, I'm interested in getting started. I'm interested in knowing what the fuck y'all up to. Where's the money coming from? What the heck is this course? What is it? The register for our next call. In line with our commitment to empowering the electoral, aspiring politicians, political parties, leaders, and delegates, we curated a comprehensive course. This course covers a wide range of topics, guidance, and bullshit. These people are suspects. Let me go to let me see. Let me see the minds behind this Kunle Lawal. Oh no, I don't know this person. The board member, architect Dr. Eric Williams. I don't know you. Christian Chama Epadi. I don't know you. I don't know these motherfuckers. It's okay. I don't know if you know them. I don't know. Bono. You don't look like Borono Bessie. Brian Bono. Let me see. Let me they go through their profile and see what make them tick. Umar is a certified civil and structural engineer by profession, a foreign direct investment expert by experience, and the heck is that? Stern philanthropist. He is a principal patriot with an innovative mind, driven by the desire for a better Nigeria, troubled by the recent events navigating the country, particularly in the Northeast, where he was from Atoka, born and raised. Has he determined the influence change through his electoral college civil education? I don't know. This thing is too suspicious. I don't trust this. I don't trust these people. I don't trust this. Who will lead me to what I'm looking for? Where the money is? Who will lead me there? Maybe I will see the yoga. Let me know who the yoga is. Maybe I will get expo for these photos. I thought come. All these people, they're hard. There's always a clue somewhere. There's always a clue. All these people, where are they coming from? All these people. There's always a clue. I know. Ain't nothing free. Sweden in Nigeria. Democracy Talk 2023, hosted by the embassy with the collaboration of the embassy of Spain. I thought, come. Hell no, man. I know. My people, I know. Just show me. Follow the money. You know what at the see them. It's convenient between Sweden and Nigeria, still the same people. My people can't fool me. Can't fool me like that. You gotta know where the money got coming from. I got to know. I got to know where the money come from. Now they will organize us. That's how to me. This America where they say you go. I be Jade where they say you go. It's not there. I be this political journey you embark on. Chai. Whoever did this to us should not be forgiven. These people cannot just tell me that they are doing something and you can't tell me where the money is coming from. It's not how life works. This is a big business, a big NGO project. Disappointed. All these ones are coming, they want organize us. I thought, come. We never ready. Nigerians. We never ready. When we're ready, we know what to do. Be all these intellectual criminals. Intellectual criminals who live large on largesses from NGOs and the other government and that foreign government. That's not what this is about. I know the game, man. I run NGO myself. So I ain't just speaking out of my ass. I know how this game work. Say the Electoral College Nigeria. Look at all of them looking. They are not looking Nigerians at all. They are looking like the 1% of Nigerians. If you look at them, we can enter them. These are not Nigerians. These don't represent majority of Nigerians. These are Jabotas. We don't know they are left from out. Let's go. Let's start with Atitech. Because this is our big boys. You know, go ever hear person will be say, oh, this guy is a community organizer in Okpela. He's a community organizer in Enugu West. He's a community organizer in Chibo. You know, they assemble all those kind of people. Now degree holders, engineers, grammarians. Currently a public servant working with the National OSPU Detective and Response Agency. See, Abuja, formerly the Director General Cross River State Electrification Agency and Senior Special Advisor, Technical to the Governor of Cross River State. These are men. We don't the chop for the system. Professionally an architect with a doctorate in business administration. Urios Castle has certified environmental law, and these are already gone. A Catholic knight at St. Mulumba is a graduate of the Junior Chambers International Leadership Academy and Junior Chamber International Prime Class Leadership Coach, founder and chairman, May and Frank Ekpo Youth Child Development Foundation, and May and Frank Ekpo School, and May and Frank Ekpo Foundation Football. All these people are and I don't want to organize it. It's okay. I'm looking forward to it. God will catch them come here, Dr. Damages. God will carry their two left leg on Dr. Damages. One can tell us what they're about. Maybe the content is, right. I say, where the money they come from? I say, no, we are just coming from a power cut. I was like, shut the fuck up, nigga. Anyway, okay, who will be this one? Chisom Choma Ikpedi. Let's see. Insurance and Risk Management Professional, a state executive member of International Association of World Peace Advocates. He's on a World IMF, World IAEA, UMO, OU. Them it is. Professional proofreaders, a professional first aider, a love traveling, open to learning. These are, if you think I'm lying, let's go there. Muku extrail this international bullshit where they get fair. You will know all of them. You will know where they are coming from. You know, it's not a rocket science. Maybe I can put down. We'll come back to this. We'll come back to this. We'll come back to this. We'll come back to it. See? There's all these ones now. IMF children. IMF children, be all of them. IMF children. International Association of World Peace Advocates. See? You can see where the NGO global type status spam. See. All these ones are, you can see where the office they serve. United Nations, Abi. They promote peace and humanitarian various local communities across the globe and ensure that the aim and objective of the United Nations. Come now, these people win. These are the people they can organize also. Deliver to me. When I thought the deliver to me is gone, I ain't fucking around. Oh, my bad. I know we'll let you see. I ain't fucking around. See? You guys show now. See, these people. This is by agents. They recruit them young. God. Holy fuck. What did I just do? What did I just did? What did I just did? When I say these people, people are happy, right? That the USAID don't go. See, I ain't lying. See, The National Association of World Peace Advocate is a global non-governmental organization and a participant of the United Nations Global Compact. Its objective is to promote peace. And I think all these one are UN. See, so I'm not a conspirator. I'm not just conspirator. All these ones, see them. Are them? Choose some. All of them. All these guys are all product of our oppressors. They don't finish with the Showore class. This is not them David Udeyi class. Now them will be class. Now the Tinubu, now then the power now. So it's supposed to be there will be. Now they're supposed to be power now. So after the Tinubu will be there will be class. These are all USAID graduates. Then the Showore is, Showore is falling along with the Dele Farotimi. Then after Dele Farotimi, now be there. This guy, I think these ones they belong to the David Udeyi class. All graduate of USAID. So let me go to Aboki. Kabir Ali. Kabir Ali is a dynamic, result-oriented professional and extensive experience managing multi-million-dollar budgets with a proven track record and strategic planning, fundraising, and investor related to. Kabir excel in his driven operational excellence, effectiveness, and maximizing his expertise lies on leading high performance team to achieve organizational goal, implementing, innovating. When they see things like this, just they go say, okay, it's not UN, and then they do all this kind of thing. I could be wrong, but let's continue. Having traveled to over 100 countries, Kabir value human capacities and emphasizes teamwork and strategy. Currently serving as a vice president of Angel Investor Business Forum in Dubai. Kabir has linked with local fund manager in the UMA for prospective client investment in Africa. His skill and so it's good. Let's continue with vast experience in various leadership roles, including country manager EAU for Citro Homes and vice president of the Federation of Tourism Association of Nigeria. Kabir has demonstrated his ability to drive growth and operational excellence. He holds a BSc in Business Administration from the prestigious Amodibela University, Zaria, completing his proficiency in diverse skills such as raising capital, strategy planning, and project oversight. He is the founder and content group of companies. He currently serves as the deputy Northwest for Electoral College activity. So see, these are the 1% Nigerians. We are well selected. I'm telling you how they select riffraff, anybody. They select their kinds, right? Who is the next person? Samaila Nuhu Poloma. Nuhu. That's that name. I'll get to it. A legal practitioner by profession with about 16 years experience, worked for the Man of Justice Gombe State for a few years before resigning and going into business. Co-own a private nursery and primary school in Gombe. I have been active in the political space for the last 10 years and a various advocate for good governance and accountability. Why they no go villages, go bring community organizers to be part of this thing? Why are they selecting themselves? All these fine people. Chairperson of the Onigbongbo LCD local government. Chairman of the local government, they serve also. Serve as the vice chairman of the Onigbongbo local government. Serve as the supervisor of the Department of Agriculture and Social Services in the Department of Education. Onigbongbo local government. Onigbongbo na Ikeja, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. I know that place very well. I know the secretariat very well. That's close to I know that place. Previously served as the APC APC legal advisor for Onigbongbo, former deputy director, Lagos State, and current board member of the Electoral College, a non-profit partisan NGO affiliated with the former deputy director, Lagos State, and current TAPA Nigeria, which is I don't see one. I don't get more clue here. Huh. So you said former deputy board member, Electoral College Nigeria, a non-partisan NGO affiliated with TELAF. Let's see. What is TELAF? That's, I think I'm getting to the money. I am getting to the money. Once I get to the money. Once I get to the money. Once I get to the money, I'm a winner. I am a winner. Wait a minute. Once I get to the money, I am a winner. Once I get to the money, I've won bigly. Bigly. I've won bigly. Once I can get to the money, I've won bigly. I would say I never. Okay. What's going on? What did I do? Okay. What did I do? Nigeria. Nigeria. All right. We'll come back to that. But it's obvious she's part and parcel of the established system already. Let's go. But the people who want to organize us be this. Let's see. Fadi Adimefe. Let's see. Ferdinand Adenefe is a visionary creator, educator, and producer who championed African narrative in the global entertainment space as the CEO of Magic Carpet Studio, a lead and award-winning nomination and storytelling company dedicated to transforming African stories into imaginative, high-quality production into a 2D, 3D, and gaming format. A member of the International Emmy Award and a UN Innovative Challenge winner for the Sahel. Don't finish. That's it. You get it. You get it. You get where it's coming from. Not them. Ferdinand advocated for the cultural empowerment through creative industries with a master's degree from Pan Atlantic University. He is also served as the board of Slum to School Africa. Curates the Creative Nigerian project and is deeply invested in fostering Black excellence and youth empowerment through tech-driven storytelling. So already, these people cannot organize us. These people can only organize Nigeria for the people that we want to organize Nigeria away from, which is the West business people and the South businessmen and women. So we're trying to remember, but these are their products. How can they be the one to lead us away from our current predicament? Huh? I ain't falling for the shit. Wait, so we now have electoral college. not like NGO. This USAID. They have so many ways. So it's like a platform. So these are the people behind obedience. Let me just make it so that we will understand. So when we are talking about obedience wasn't an organic movement, this is how they hybrid it to existence. So these are the people. So they channel their focus to the youth. So their role. Now then they play the role. So okay, say NGO USAID established NGO to brainwash, soft power as they call it, all of us. So now that the NGO are being phased out of that role, New system, new structure have to be developed. These are the structures. You go there. The different name they. These are the structures. So when you hear Nigerian Electoral College, no be because of no be the goal is not to establish what American Electoral College is about. No, it's just a name. So they empower these people to empower voters on ground. Kajiko, you understand what I mean? Yes, this is their role. So it's not there. So Emmanuel Moore is a seasoned, innovative strategist, entrepreneur, and business developer with extensive management consulting experience. He drives growth by leveraging innovation and creativity. Emmanuel conceive, develop, and launch initiatives such as the Nigerian Creativity Championship geared towards promoting entrepreneurial innovation. Professional experience, business development director, Westway Nigeria Limited. Founder, CEO, Emmanuel Mora Foundation. Administrative Officer, Spring Hot Limited. Board member, Electoral College. BSc from Igbenidion, Okada, and UNN, and MSA, Peace and Conflict Resolution National. Now, then be that. You see them. See, which one I will go for again? Now all of them are them. So there's no point. Kazim Sanusi. Let's start with Anita. I mean, that's what it's supposed to be, right? Yes. She a Nigerian? Could be. My name is Anita Regis, and I hold a BSc in Fine and Applied Art. I have had the privilege of serving in several notable roles, including special assistance on political affairs to the former Minister of Aviation and Transport, as well as executive assistant to the Nigerian ambassador to Singapore. I am the founder of the Anita Regis Foundation and Oil Energy Limited. In addition, I had the honor of serving as a secretary on the 2021 National Convention Organizing Committee. Under the subcommittee for protocol, I was also actively involved in the women presidential campaign for Article 20. They all organize Nigerians. I said it yesterday. You've never seen a Christian going to Muslim community in order to convert them. You don't preach to the converted already. Go into where people who don't know Christ or anything. But see, they are recruiting among themselves. They want to lead the organizers. I say, go catch you now. Will come. Dr. Damiji. Sheyi Bella, PhD candidate on the intersection of law, governance, and technology, an international corporate techno-legal expert who hold an LLB and LLM from the University of Buckingham and MSc in Artificial Intelligence and Technology Law from the University of Law, a certified in information privacy professional and AI governance professional, and See, it was in Harvard too. Brazil from the Harvard Business School. See, not them. Nigeria. Blessed. These are your future. And I said, now by grade, Tinubu candidates are fading off. Obi's class are the next in terms of the USAID. After OB class, we come to Showore, the Daily Pharaoh to me, all of the Aisha was that. Then from there, you come to these people. The David O'Day in there. But then be the next set. So, God, who do us like this? Who did it? Who did this to us? All right. Akoje Kevin Akoje is a brand and engagement consultant, public speaker, security commentator, social analyst, and a serial media entrepreneur. Okay. Let's see. He's the CEO of Media Depot Nigeria Limited, a new media PR advertising and comedy multimedia content service provider and country director of LDG Radio Nigeria. Bum, 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 bum. He is a proud alumni of the University of Abuja and the prestigious class of 96 Nigerian Defense Academy postgraduate school, where he engaged in Master in Defense and Strategy Study. An avid martial art enthusiast, alternative dispute resolution practitioner, and a founding member of the Alliance for New Nigerian Political Party, where he served as a pioneer director of media and publicity and deputy national youth leader, activities of which culminated into the race for a seat in the House of Senate to run for the Kogi East Senatorial District in 2019 general election. Kevin was born to a family of 4 siblings in total, a Catholic and married with 2 kids. Congratulations, motherfucker. Now, let's go to the last person. Kazim Sanusi. As an effective, integrated, sustainable, resilient, and anti-fragile system and city expert. What the fuck is that? What the heck, man? Integrated, sustainable, resilience, and anti-fragile system and city expert. What the fuck is that? Nigga, who the fuck are you? Anyway, my multi-sectional, multicultural, multinational, multi-responsibility. You see why they support Monday Paulo? We know Sabi speak English. Because of all this nonsense. What the fuck is this? What's all this about? Damn, multi, everything now multi. Only your face, man, God, that is not multi-face. All right, let's continue the multi. So multi-responsibility level experience across the public, private, multilateral, and political sphere. Nigga, man, who like, yo. This is fucking ridiculous. Anyway, I have an unfair advantage of being able to intellectually acquire 360-degree process and context sensitivity. Damn. We are in trouble. Let me recap. Let me come back. Say, I have an unfair advantage of being able to intellectually acquire 360-degree process and content sensitivity supports the full dynamic spectrum of the developmental, spatial, livability, and mobility infrastructural, socio-economical, people, institution, finance, natural resources, environmental, political economy, and situational intelligence conflicts, etc. God damn! Whew. Oh my God. Anyway, I love to point out and maximize the interplay of competitive, comparative, and most importantly, complementary advantage and opportunities for impactful, integrated, inclusive, and sustainable growth and development, and context sensitivity yet sounds good. What the fuck, nigga? Like, what are these people, man? Ah, you know what? I'm done. It's finished. Let's it. See, these are the people we want to organize now. Who choose them? USAID. Now you choose them. And I'm dead serious. This just all you need to know, follow the money. These are being sponsored by NGOs, just like Sahara Reporters, just like West African Weekly. You just keep naming them. I don't select all these people. They are the one that will come and organize you, which I get to hear about them through Dele Parotimi. Dele Parotimi said he was supposed to have a guest on his platform on Sunday, but unfortunately, due to some technical issue beyond their control, the guy could not show up. So, but he's going to set another day that the guy. So he mentioned the guy named Kule Lawal also. I said, well, let me go and find out who the fuck is this Kule Lawal, just to find out that he studied the Nigerian college of bullshit. Boy. This is why I just anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we'll come when I recover quick. Until then, like, share, and subscribe. Ciao, ciao. Oh, you watch the show? Okay, okay. Now, I tell me say now did I tell you and say he supposed get guess. This is the guest name because now the guest when he be one get with this. He called the name this Kule Lawal. So I constantly make I go find out. You know me now, who be this Kule Lawal because it's here. Don't they go towards organizing? They want to organize Nigerians. And how do you convince me that you are not organizing Nigeria under Obi? There's nothing wrong with that, but just come straight. Or you tell us that you want to organize us to take the system. Obi is part of the system. So he is relying on the expertise and experience of Kule Lawal with the Nigerian electoral college. I think it's a school. It's a school. So the guy named this Kule Lawal and they lead this school. And it's kind of an NGO. Their goal is to educate Nigerians. Let me take you. We'll come back to him. Let me take you to what they are about. They say about us. This is what they are about. Building a brighter future through ideological democracy. You see? The Electoral College Nigeria is a non-partisan, non-governmental organization dedicated to promoting ideological democracy in Nigeria. We are committed to bridging the gap between political patriotism and development. We work to grow and improve Nigeria by providing a welcoming environment, giving young Nigerians the tools they need to become informed, engaged citizens who can influence the country's destiny. The Electoral College is founded in response to Nigerian pressing need for political literacy. Electoral College Nigeria is committed to fostering an educated, engaged, and informed electorate. We offer non-partisan education to bridge the gap in political understanding and empowering citizens, especially youth, to play active role in shaping Nigerian governance. A non-partisan and non-governmental organization dedicated to promoting ideological democracy in Nigeria. So, this is what they're about. And the arrowhead is this guy right here. I don't know about Kule Lawal. He's a prominent Nigerian political figure. How prominent is he? I don't know. Renowned for his unwavering commitment to democratic governance, electoral integrity, and political literacy. His extensive experience and leadership have significantly contributed to shaping Nigerian political landscape and fostering a non-informed and engaged citizenry. So that's who he is. Now them assemble. So these people are sponsored by NGOs. These are the same NGOs that sponsor Showore and Sahara Reporters. The same NGOs that is sponsoring Davido, which is a weekly report weekly, whatever. So you know the same idea, the same philosophy, the same motive, the same game, just to keep the people stupid and foolish to vote against their own interests. That's what it's about. But hey, so because I don't because I'm ready to work with anyone that wants to genuinely organize Nigeria. So when I hear him going that route, I say, okay, I think this is a good thing. Even though I see they use one idea, they look at us now obedient. Once you are in the obedience, that means there's more to that. But when it comes to say it is rely on Kule Lawal to champion the organizing, I was like, fuck it. Let me go find out what this guy is. And now I find it, I'm disappointed and I'm glad that I did, but at the same time, it just reminds me of that there's no way out among us the living. We are all being compromised. So blessed. Thank you for your time, and I will see you later tomorrow. Ciao, ciao.